Stay tuned for a Fox Sports special presentation.
Tonight you will see what we the players already know.
That our sport has the proudest athletes on this planet.
With characteristics that link us together.
Toughness.
Get hammered by Lindros.
In hockey, 20 stitches over the eye is a missed shift. Maybe, but never a trip to the DL. Because there is no such thing in the playoffs. Speed.
Speed merchants.
Don't blink, because you'll miss it. Hockey moves like no other sport.
Hey, watch this guy fly.
Tradition. Hockey has the most revered trophy, as yesterday's Warriors have shown. Determination.
What? We got a battle going here.
In hockey, sheer will is worth a goal per game.
Brendan Shanahan with a strong effort.
And one can finesse an opponent or roll right over them. Old-time hockey is alive and well.
And now, after 78 playoff games,
16 overtimes,
some broken bones,
gashed faces,
and split lips,
it all comes down to this.
Two teams, similar in their hunger and character, seeking one reward. It's time to get it on.
Welcome to William Penn City of Brotherly Love, where tonight the quest to drink from Lord Stanley's Cup begins in earnest. How big is this game and series? Well, scalpers are getting as much as $1,500 per seat from Philly fanatics, hoping to see this generation of the Broad Street Bullies add a third championship to the back-to-back titles the Flyers brought home 22 years ago. Well, Philadelphia does not have a monopoly on rabid fans cheering on the home team. In Detroit at Joe Louis Arena, the faithful are out to cheer on their team, hoping that they can take Game 1 from a big and powerful Flyers team. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fox's coverage of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Flyers and the Red Wings. I'm James Brown, and with me, as always, my partner and 11-year veteran in the NHL, Dave Maloney. You know, last year we were in Denver. We thought we were going to anoint a dynasty then. The defending Stanley Cup champions Avalanche team is not here. The Red Wings are. Why?
Well, you know, JB, while this is the same Detroit franchise that lost in the finals last year and in the conference finals 2 years ago, this is not the same Detroit team. Scotty Bowman has retooled the Wings. He's made them less pretty, folks, but they're a lot more gritty.
Well, make no mistake about it, the biggest gun on the ice tonight will be number 88 for Philadelphia.
Well, that's for sure. When you talk about a player who typifies a young, physical, talented Flyer hockey team, we're referring to our Fox faceoff guy, Flyer captain, number 88, Eric Lindros. They got this guy 5 years ago, folks, from Quebec when he wouldn't go there. Eric Lindros is the leader on a very good hockey team. This right here is the passing of the torches. Lindros went right past his boyhood idol, Mark Messier. To my way of thinking, James, he became a player in this series. He's played with composure. He has gotten to the level that the elite players have to get to be players on winning hockey teams. That guy right there, Eric Lindros, is a big factor here in this series.
Well, Dave, as you know all too well, when these playoffs began some 6 weeks ago, there was still a question in both teams' mind as to who would be in goal. Well, it is Hextall for the Flyers, Mike Vernon for the Red Wings, and more on that. Let's check in with our resident goaltender. Let's go upstairs to Don Davison.
Thanks, JB. What we have here are two veteran goaltenders who have battled to regain the respect of the hockey world. For Detroit, 34-year-old Mike Vernon is in goal. He's not big at only 5'9". He's a smart reflex goaltender. He has 12 wins, the most wins of any goaltender in the playoffs. And yes, he's won a Stanley Cup. Back in 1989 with the Calgary Flames, he got the job done. At the other end, 6'3", 33-year-old Ron Hextall. He's undefeated, 4-0 in the playoffs. When he plays well, his team feeds off of him. Back in 1987 with Philadelphia, he lost a 7-game series to the Oilers. He was named the MVP in that tournament. Now think about this. 16 years ago in Western Canada in the junior leagues, these two goaltenders started playing against each other. Now, here we are in 1997 at the big show, the Stanley Cup Finals. They're back playing against each other, and they've earned it. They've earned the respect, JB.
All right, JD and John Davidson and Dr. Mike Emmerich will cover tonight's game from the broadcast booth, but we've also got ample support ringside with our analysts Craig Simpson and Joe Micheletti. Let's check in first with Joe.
Okay, JB, thanks very much. You know, the Flyers are here for one important reason: outstanding depth at the forward position. Rookie Dinas Zubras had been playing on the top line with LeClaire and Lindros, but in this game tonight, a change. Michael Renberg will be reunited with the Legion of Doom. Flyers coach Terry Murray talked about the change.
Well, first of all, Michael's healthy now, Joe. His ankle was bothering him in the Ranger series, and the time off has been good for Michael, so I'm getting him back. I think there's a little bit of a difference in the line whenever Michael's there. They've played well together over the past 2-3 years, and I want to try and get any kind of edge I can.
Well, now with Renberg back in the lineup, that poses another problem for Detroit. And for a report on the Wings, let's go to Craig Simpson. Craig.
Thanks, Joe. The Detroit Red Wings stone-faced here. They're ready to roll. I talked to Scotty Bowman about what his team needs to do against this big Philadelphia squad.
Well, obviously, we have to have the puck a lot more than the teams that played against them. It's not easy, but that's been our success, that we've been able to play a strong offensive game. And naturally, when you're defending, you want to be in position. But I think the fact that we don't want to get outnumbered situations coming through the neutral zone, because that could generate some chances, or at the worst, a real good forecheck for them.
Well, they're ready to roll now, JB. Back up to you in the booth.
An outstanding matchup, and we are just a few minutes away from dropping the puck on game one. When we come back, we'll introduce the starters for tonight's showdown.
You're watching the Stanley Cup Finals on Fox.
Here in Philadelphia, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Flyers are hosting the Red Wings. These fans have been waiting a long time. 22 years to be exact. And Dave, so many people have characterized this as the speed of Detroit against the power of Philadelphia. Not quite that simple, though.
It really isn't. As I mentioned at the top of the show, the last two Detroit teams, you could very easily say that, but this Detroit team is not specifically speed. They've got Brendan Shanahan, Larry Murphy, Thomas Sandstrom. It's a different look that it gives them a little more room for the Soviets to play.
You know, we've also talked about Eric Lindros being the big gun. He's got to keep an eye on Mr. Konstantinov, who will certainly try to take him off his game, and we will be following that quite closely, as Dave will be watching as well. Right now, let's take it downstairs to announcer Lou Nolan for tonight's Game 1 starters.
The defense, number 5, Nicholas Lindstrom. Along with number 55, Martin Murphy. The forwards, left wing, number 25, Darren McCarty. The right wing, number 18, Kurt Maltby. And the center, number 33, Chris Raper. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup, Philadelphia Flyers. In goal, number 27, Ron Hextall. The defense, number 23, Peter Sloboda. Accompanied by number 44, Yanni Niederma. The forwards, left wing, number 10, John LeClaire. The right wing, number 19, Michael Renberg.
When we come back to Philadelphia, we'll drop the puck on Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Flyers and the Red Wings. And we'll go upstairs to the broadcast booth to join Mike Emmerich and John Davidson.
The cup is over 100 years old. You win and your name goes on it, but so does the name of your city. Will it be Detroit or will it be Philadelphia? Will it ever be fun finding out? Good evening, everyone. Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emmerich. The biggest crowd in Pennsylvania hockey history to see the biggest team in NHL history.
And the biggest line is back together. The Legion of Doom, centered by Eric Lindros with Leclerc on one side and Mikael Renberg on the other side, back together. They're huge. They average 220 pounds. Now, Terry Murray, the Flyer coach, he told us he's going to play Lindros a lot, and that means double shifting. And for Detroit, the dilemma is, can you play one line against him, or what do you do?
Vladimir Konstantinov is the guy who's been against him in some murderous play during the course of the regular season in just the 2 games they played. Interesting how Lindros sees Konstantinov.
He just might be the best. He made a comment. He's made comments all the time about if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And all right, that's. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a real tough battle. It's gonna be a little cat and mouse. It's gonna be interesting.
Detroit had good teams, but got swept in '95 and bounced by Colorado last year. They made a philosophical team.
Yeah, they got a lot bigger. When you look at a guy like Brendan Shanahan, you've got size, you've got defensive ability, you've got offensive ability. Listen, with Eric Lindros going to get double shifted a lot early, Detroit can't match up with just one line. They're going to go with 2 or 3 different lines, a couple of sets of defensemen, and try to wear down Eric Lindros.
Well, the Red Wings start. Chris Draper giving up 5 inches and 50 pounds to Eric Lindros, along with Maltby and McCarty. Leclerc, Lindros, and Renberg, the Legion of Doom line is out for the start of this Stanley Cup Final Series. Lindros tried to reach that, did get it. The pass over near Larry Murphy. Tangles for a moment with Leclerc and swept it back down near Hextall. No icing on this is Jani Niinema, the Finnish rookie. Plays it along to Peter Svoboda, who is rammed by McCarty. So now taken by Slava Fetisov and given on to Larry Murphy. Murphy, the veteran defenseman, gave it up to Svoboda, and the Red Wings make a change in lines. Joel Otto's pass blocked by Doug Brown, but back now for Otto. Again, the Red Wings move. Kozlov over for a shot by Brown that's deflected by Paul Coffey and fed in front, and Fedorov couldn't get much on it. Fedorov again, and he angled one out in front. Kept alive at the point. Konstantinov moving on in with a shot pad stopped made by Hextall. Still trouble, and Hextall this time will seal it out.
There was some concern on behalf of Detroit saying, listen, Philadelphia, when the game starts, they want to dump the puck deep and they want to hammer the defenseman of Detroit. Detroit said, you know, that does concern us, but let's think about this for a moment. We're pretty good at doing the same thing. Let's get the puck deep, try and really take it to the Flyers early. So the philosophy was the same with both coaches going into the game. I think 2 shifts here through the first minute, 4 seconds. Scotty Bowman's club looks very relaxed and very businesslike and have forced the play in the Flyers zone over the first 1 minute.
On merit, the officials are chosen for games like these. Bill McCreary, Ray Scapanello, Dan Shakty. The standbys, Terry Gregson and Gord Brosiker. The replay official, Jim Doyle. Off-ice officials are from New Jersey. And the supervisor is Dave Newell. Both teams healthy. 2 great teams. First time they've ever met in the playoffs. And the question is, who will dictate the terms in these opening minutes? 1:20 has been played. Big shot by Shanahan, blocked by Hextall. 77 miles an hour as Fox Tracks is in operation. Igor Larionov taps it along. Dinas Zubras, the rookie for Philadelphia, on to brind'amour, but that shanked off Dale Howard-Chuck, and the Red Wings started back. Slava Fetisov back on for Shanahan.
We did not see Konstantinov start against the Lindros line.
Brind'amour feeds on, but trouble there for Howard-Chuck. Now it is Renberg feeding it on back for Coffey. Coffey finessed it through Brind'amour. Brind'amour backhander in front. Oh, and Coffey is rammed. Loose puck at the side of the net. And it is held remarkably, and play is stopped.
We have 2 teams here that love to send their defense in on the offense. Now, as you saw on that play, it was Paul Coffey getting his first shift. He got in real deep, stopped at the top of the crease, and then paid. When the puck got there, he got just hammered to the ice. You see Renberg skating very well early in this game, moving the puck here to Coffey, who can't handle it on the backhand side of his stick. Now, as the puck goes into the corner, Coffey will establish himself right in front, and he'll wait. The Red Wings were caught on a change, haven't recovered. Brind'amour gets the puck in front. Now watch Coffey. Man, did he get squished and hammered to the ice. And Bill McCurry, who's a good referee in letting players play, let them play.
Scotty Bowman wants an emotional high at the start. So far, he has it. Samuelsson a shot, and that ricocheted the corner. Knifed away by Sandstrom, on back to Samuelsson. Another shot, and that squibbed wide. Fed out in front, and a good denial by the defensive work of Nicholas Lidstrom. Yzerman's pass is away from McCarty. Hextall out of his goal, sweeps it around from the waiting McCarthy, and it's just flown on back to neutral ice.
So we saw Lindros win a big face-off now, clean in the Detroit zone. Detroit had a 6 o'clock meeting tonight talking about face-offs and the tendencies.
Hextall waiting. Yzerman, if he takes it, it's an illegal play. He does, so it is.
Good read by Ron Hextall. He could have played the puck. He knew that if Yzerman touched it, the face-off would be back outside the zone. A real good read by the very calm Ron Hextall. Years ago, he was one of the more superstitious people in all of hockey, but Hextall has settled right down, very businesslike, very relaxed. Now, Mike, through 2 shifts of Lindros, he has faced Draper 1 shift and Yzerman 1 shift. Lindros won a face-off, which led to a partial scoring chance by Philadelphia in the Detroit zone.
Detroit wanted the emotional high. Looks pretty good. Philadelphia wanted to establish forechecking. Have they done it yet?
Not yet, but this is their 4th line on the ice right now. Kordic, Lacroix, and Druce against the big line of Kocur, Maltby, and Draper. So Kocur gets his first shift. Let's see what the tough guys do here against one another.
Bouncing puck away from Druce, knocked back out by Lacroix. Slava Fetisov, 39 years of age. Back on to Konstantinov, then to Fetisov again. The veteran of 3 Olympics for the Soviet Union, as it was known then. Lays it back across for the carry by Draper. Blasts one that is knifed down. Draper tried to reach for it, but it scooped away over to Peter Svoboda. Flipped it along further. Konstantinov was checked by Lacroix.
Philadelphia just did a great job with Konstantinov and Fetisov regrouping. Not shooting the puck in, but going backwards and regrouping. The Flyers didn't get sucked in. They played it really well defensively.
Bob Rouse to play on defense. Gives it across. Maltby scaled it off the glass and back out.
This could be the hitting line. Platt on the right side. Injured 2 Rangers, Jernander and Brian Leetch, with some good hitting. Platt on the right side, Podine on the left, and Joel Otto in the middle.
The Lake Wobegon line, all from Minnesota. Rouse able to drop it back in. Turning with it is Chris Therrien.
Now here's the Detroit system. The left winger's back. Now you see the puck going through the middle, and Detroit cut it off. No first pass completed. It's called a left wing lock by Detroit, and it worked for a moment. Philadelphia now changes. Desjardins just popped the man in the face with his stick. That's Kozlov. Billy McCurry let it go.
Kozlov just now has gotten to the bench and been replaced. Meanwhile, the puck taken by Leclerc. The Legion of Doom is back out there. Leclerc and Renberg, the wingers for Eric Lindros. Leclerc trying to get in, but no room for him. Meanwhile, it's fed on back by Shanahan and quickly across to Larry Murphy. Brought on from Toronto late in the season. Murphy played that one back in, and Samuelsson put it off the glass and back out. On now to Lindros. Got it for Paul Coffey with Leclerc breaking. Coffey flipped one, knocked down by the defense off of Murphy. Jammed back and fanning one at Lindros. Coffey a shot, and that went off Igor Larionov. Now Desjardins a shot off of Vernon. Fed on back, Desjardins again, and it went wide. 71 miles an hour. It's picked up by Lapointe. Tried to flip it further. No room. Renberg blocked it back. Lapointe winds it the other way. Sandstrom tipped it.
3rd different line combination Lindros has played against. The common denominator, Lidstrom number 5, Larry Murphy, who has the puck now, have been on the ice every shift that Lindros has been out there.
Darren McCarty with a pass on to Yzerman, the captain of the Red Wings. Yzerman with no room. And it's floated back out. Deafening roar here at Coors State Center.
Changing on the fly, important now, Mike. There's no whistles here, no stoppages. The coaches and their players have to be very sharp on the bench.
Fetisov took out Brind'amour. Meanwhile, the pass comes across. Thomas Sandstrom lays it back in.
Sandstrom put his stick right up in the helmet of Kjell Samuelsson. Sandstrom will get a reaction or retaliation penalty here. Bad penalty right in front of the referee.
The touch by Vernon, the first power play to Philadelphia. High sticking at 5:50. Power play will go to Philadelphia.
Big Kjell Samuelsson, a former teammate of Sandstrom, banged him with a stick, hit him, and then watch Sandstrom's stick raked right up across the helmet twice in front of Bill McCurry, so Sandstrom sits. Watch Lindros on draws. Clean. There it goes.
Niinema to Brind'amour. Brind'amour shooting, and that one blocked away. Mike Vernon is presented with a tremendous challenge. He's 5'9", and he's going to have some oak trees in front of him on this power play.
He said he'd look through the legs, Mike. Not around or over top of the players. He'll look through the legs.
So we'll watch for him to be scrunching down as Coffey missed for Brind'amour, but got Leclaire. Leclaire dumped it along, and Larionov trickled it out, and on comes Shanahan. Coffey trying to cut it. Shanahan moving in. Save! Hextall!
Shanahan didn't see Lidstrom in behind him. The defenseman had moved up. Big save by Ronnie Hextall.
40 seconds gone on the power play, and this one knocked away, and now it's Maltby, and 2 on the goalie. A fade to Draper to Maltby. He scores! A short-handed goal!
Second short-handed goal in the playoffs for Detroit. The second by Draper. Hextall had no chance. Coffey, along with the fans in Detroit. Oh, the fans are celebrating at Joe Louis. Coffey and Niinema had been exhausted. They've been skating back, chasing pucks twice now. Look at this tic-tac. Wow, quick passing. Ronnie Hextall could only spread out and hope. It was Maltby who scored. I apologize. Second shorthanded goal for Detroit in the playoffs. A fine passing play, in Detroit going right at Philadelphia with speed. Right at the defenseman of the Flyers, and 1-0 Detroit.
Maltby's fourth, his first shorthanded goal. Draper gets the lone assist. And the deafening roar is now a rumble of concern. Still power play time to Philadelphia, but the Flyers have been outshot 4-1. 2 shorthanded attempts.
And 2 of these shots shorthanded. You're absolutely right. Now here there seems to be a problem with the clock and how much time is left on the penalty to Thomas Sandstrom, who's in the box. It will be reviewed upstairs and then told to Bill McCurry. I believe that's what the problem is. They want to know what time the penalty was, how much time's on the clock, and make sure that that coincides with the amount of time left that the Red Wings have to kill. Now Lindros was on the puck here, and you see Maltby strip him. That caught both defensemen flat-footed. Draper read the play. It's a 2-man breakaway. Lindros got stripped by Maltby, and watch Draper's pass back, which in turn got Hextall out of position, and a great finish. Boy, that's a nice play by Maltby. Maltby and Draper worked together killing penalties, and they stripped Eric Lindros, and it's 1-0 Detroit shorthanded.
How much of a stunner will this be? The next minute 12 will tell some of it.
Mike, does this Detroit team look different than what we saw 2 years ago when they went up against New Jersey in the Cup final? It was like men against boys in that series. Here, Detroit looks so much more mature, so much more ready, so much more poised.
Really confident. Here's Zubras moving in, hooked at a bit, jammed it behind, turning as Renberg, checked by Rouse. At the half board, Zubras. Pestered by a couple, it's skipped back to Desjardins, off of Coffey, and again back out. And so Coffey will drop back.
And we talked to Terry Murray before the game about Detroit's penalty kill. He said they're good, and we can't find a weakness in it. So we know what to expect. We've looked at tapes, but the Detroit forwards here are just flying. Their penalty-killing forwards are just going after the puck, no matter where it is.
Yzerman and Fedorov are the penalty killers now. In back, Konstantinov along with Nicholas Lidstrom. It's rattled around behind Mike Vernon over to Desjardins. Desjardins trying to flip it through. It's knifed behind to Lindros. Lindros out to Niinema, and it's up to... They scramble for it at the front of the net. Score!
There was 13 seconds to go on the power play, and the puck's jammed in by the Flyers. Watch the great play by brind'amour. Watch him right here pick up his man. He holds Lidstrom's stick right there. So Lidstrom can't get to the puck. It buys a little time. Now the Flyers work from behind the net. Jam play as Niederma had moved in. And there's Lindros. The puck's in the crease. Lindros is out. And the puck is over the goal line. It's being reviewed. I believe Lindros went into the crease after the puck had gotten there. Ryan Burke, Dave Nonis, everybody looking up at their monitors to find out if the goal itself on the power play is okay. Now here's the goal crease. The puck is in the crease. It's in the crease. Lindros is allowed to go in after the puck's in the crease. It's vacated. The Flyers are vacated, and this goal is scored. So what a wild power play this is. The Flyers tie it up at 1 after giving up a shorthanded goal. He jammed that in. That looked like almost a Red Wing stick that jammed it in, Mike.
Boy, it did.
There's Niederma's shot, stopped by Vernon. He can't find the rebound. Lindros is there, and in someone at the top of the goal crease jammed the puck in past Mike Vernon. Another look at it. Watch right at the front in the middle. Somebody stick right here. It may have been brind'amour from the other side who actually started the whole play with a nice move on Lidstrom by holding a stick and buying time. We're tied up at 1.
So the stun did not last very long. The game is tied at 1. 7 minutes and 50 seconds have been played here in the first period. It's been eventful. Flat roughed up on the corner boards. The puck came for Podine, shot that's tipped aside on the split save with the stick by Mike Vernon. It is Podine flipping it back in. Hasn't gone all the way yet. No matter. The Flyers are in the midst of a change. Unmolested, it's Larionov. Now hooked at, but able to escape. Desjardins turning. 4 shots apiece. Half of the Red Wing shots have been shorthanded, including a goal by Kirk Maltby. But now it is picked up and circled around behind by Podine. Tried to jam it to the front, could not. Hooked along further by Aaron Ward, the first-year defenseman out of the University of Michigan. But it's back down to Coffey. Hands it across to Samuelson. And a save made by Vernon. Good coverage by the Red Wings defense, and so Slava Kozlov can move it back out.
The Flyers picking up their game.
Kozlov with a shot that went wide. Now it's Brown jamming it behind for Fedorov. Taken out by Samuelson. Brown moving with it. Bear hugged and waltzed to the corner by Coffey. Brown again tries to step in front. Hextall flipped it back down.
This will be icing. Good play by Hextall. The Flyers, though, follow up the power play goal with a good shift. They're starting to grind, starting to hit a little bit.
Down below in South Philadelphia, MasterCard holders call 1-888-FOX winner for your chance to win $1 million during the second intermission. 36-year-old technical sales rep Laura Wall from Anaheim is going to shoot for $1 million for herself and a lucky home viewer of Fox's telecast. And somebody here in the arena is going to win 10 grand if she puts it through.
That lady's pretty good. She's been working with Bobby Orr on getting good with it. Eric Lindros got credit for the power play goal. And the Flyers have won every single faceoff we've had in this game. We knew they'd be good, but we didn't think they'd be 8-0 this early.
Nicholas Lidstrom for Detroit's defense. Well, that's been their hallmark all year. One of several that they have is their dominance in faceoffs, but you wouldn't think a clean sweep this far along, nearly halfway through the first.
No, not only do they have the size, but they also have a lot of quickness. Again, Detroit had themselves a meeting at 6 o'clock regarding the tendencies and what Philadelphia does so well on faceoffs. As a coach, Scotty Bowman just doesn't want to lose the draws clean. If there's a tie with the 2 centermen, then the forwards could jump in and help out a little bit. Now, Scotty was talking about a lot of different things with Philadelphia. They're prepared for the cycle that the Flyers can throw at them, and they're also prepared for the penalty kill, but they're not, and I don't think anybody is, for the size of Leclerc and Lindros standing on top of the goal crease on the power play. They're just hard to move.
Scotty is happy with the bench here. Unlike in Colorado, he didn't have to bring his own this time. The bench is legal and okay. He's got room to make his changes for his guys. Here's Yzerman bringing it out with 10:20 left in the first and the game tie. Missed for McCarty, who is watched by Niederma so that Hextall can play it around the glass, and it careens back out.
Niederma held up McCarty, knowing how good Hextall is. Detroit will try to put the puck in to Hextall's right side.
Follow up, Yzerman. Yzerman cruising in, Sandstrom trying to reach it. Can't get a backhander away, and it's foisted to the glass by brind'amour. Finesse loose by Joe Kocur, but it's taken by brind'amour and handed back out. Some pressure by Detroit. The Flyers dump it back in. It's chopped at by Larry Murphy. And moving to it is defense partner Nicholas Lidstrom. Desjardins waiting in neutral ice, but it's knocked away from him. Joe Kocur brings it in. Kocur waiting, shoveling one that went wide as Draper was cruising in front of Hextall. Aaron Ward, the defenseman, put it behind. Draper hopped to it, put it out in front. Ward with a shot, and it went wide. Chipped around. Out in front, it went off of Hextall's stick. Back for another drive, and that one ricocheted back down. Oh, some good pressure by Detroit.
Fine forechecking by Draper, Kocur, and Maltby, but good stick work by Ron Hextall, who didn't see that dump in, Mike. He just landed beside his goal. He didn't see the puck.
It was lost in the crowd. Back on Podine. Angled back in. Fed to the front for Lindros by Renberg. Lindros went down. He battles with Constantino. Quick shot is stopped by Vernon from Renberg's stick. Now it's Leclaire wheeling with it. The Legion of Doom out there. Centering pass is cut off and started out by Constantino, and the Red Wings hurry to it. It is Lapointe flying it back in. 6'6" defenseman Shel Samuelson put it back off, and Fetisov couldn't stop it. Down to the ice, wanting to buy a penalty, Lindros, and he did.
Fetisov will go. First shift, Fetisov and Constantinov against Lindros, and Fetisov goes.
To be Army-Navy at old JFK Stadium. But now it's the Stanley Cup final.
Eric Lindros gets a step off the defenseman. Actually, it's not Lindros, it's Baryshnikov. Fetisov on Baryshnikov, the all-pro. And Fetisov gets caught as Lindros took the dive. Look at Slava's got the smile, but Lindros does a nice job talking the referee into making the call. So Eric sits as his team starts on the power play.
On the first Philadelphia goal, it took a while to decide who would be credited with it. It is Lindros, his 12th from Niinema and brind'amour, a power play goal. So Lindros the goal for Philadelphia power play. Short-handed for the Red Wings. About a minute earlier, it was Maltby. Philadelphia to the second power play. Howard Chuck over to Desjardins. Fired it in. It's Vernon lifting it along. Sandstrom wanted to one-time it out. Couldn't. Coffey has it. Moves behind. Paul Coffey, a backhander, knocked down by the defense. Centered out in front, and it escaped to the boards. Desjardins just waiting. Now across to Coffey. Traffic starts to form. Desjardins again. Wrists one, and it's blocked away by the knee of Lidstrom. Taken by Sandstrom, and he's able to send it back down on Hextall. 45 gone on the penalty kill for Detroit.
And now it almost seems like the real power play is going to start. Here comes the big boys, centered by Eric Lindros. Rouse and Murphy put together, and they'll have the job of trying to move Leclaire and Lindros in front.
They're giving up about 20 pounds and about 2 inches. An offside call. 20 pounds and 2 inches a man.
And that's why Detroit knows when they kill penalties in front of their own goal, they're going to have to move sticks out. Not so much the body. Play the stick a lot. You know, Dougie Brown plays a lot on the line with Sergei Fedorov. They're on together here now to kill a penalty. Doug Brown, one of his children, son Patrick, the godfather of that child, is Slava Fetisov. They were teammates years ago in New Jersey. Doug Brown knows the Russian culture very well. And that's one reason why Doug Brown has gotten along with Fedorov so well. And I think because of that, Fedorov has played his best hockey right now of the playoffs. He and Brown are close. They know each other well, and they blend together on the ice real well.
First one to this one is Doug Brown. Brown had it knocked away. Follow-up comes from Sergei Fedorov, and he rattles it back in. There's some crazy bounces off the glass here, John. Brand new facility, too.
And the Detroit Red Wings in practice this morning checked out the glass. The partitions here stick out. The goaltenders have to be very, very aware of it. It cost the Flyers a goal against in the Rangers series. The pucks bounce very strange.
Lindros pulled his way out and wedged it in for Leclaire. Leclaire sidestepped the check, still battling the wall with Rouse. Fanning on it, Murphy. Second effort, got it as far as the point. Svoboda, half boards for Lindros. Back for Peter Svoboda, across to Desjardins. Desjardins trying to twist away from Brown. Pass is blocked aside by Murphy. Still they battle. Coming in is Leclaire. Jammed it along, and the Red Wings clear. And out of the box is Fetisov.
A good penalty kill. Not a real good scoring chance for the Flyers. And Detroit won a lot of the board battles on the penalty kill deep in their own zone.
Desjardins flopped it back, drilled back in again. So Hextall with another handle. The shots are 6-4 Flyers. Podine headman's on the big Joel Otto. Wrist shot is high off of Vernon.
How about the pass by Hextall? Set up that whole rush. Set up the shot by Otto. Ronnie Hextall has been really good with his goal stick.
Podine with a heavy hit on LaPointe. And we get a stoppage of play.
And the puck ended up in the stands, Mike, so they've just gotten themselves a new one. You know, the goaltenders have to read shots. It's the quickness of the release, and then it's the quickness in time of the shot getting to the net. That was Otto's shot that Vernon knocked down with his arm. That was 28 feet out where the shot was taken from, and 1/3 of a second it took from the shot to get there. Goaltenders read the shooter's English. They know when he's about to release the shot. They get themselves ready. Now, Vernon was well out. He knew he had a man in front of him providing a bit of a screen, so the shot should come high on the glove hand side, and sure enough it did. Mike made a good save. 1/3 of a second was the reaction time and the traveling time of the puck.
Who would have the heaviest, hardest, quickest shot of any Flyer?
Well, I think Lindros when he releases it. Leclerc is good when he flies down the wing and takes the big slap shot. But I'll tell you what, when Lindros gets his quick hands and he stands upright, and the power and the release of the shot, it's remarkable how quick the puck gets to the goalie when Lindros shoots it. And I think for Detroit, I think Shanahan, the way he fires the puck off the pass.
LaPointe dropped this one off. The teams are at full strength. Larry on offset flying by Hornet. Came back across, and Ward chopped it in, and an offside call. The puck must be the first thing across that last blue line as you're hoping to attack. Well, this is what we have coming up in this best of 7. Tuesday here in Philadelphia. That'll be on ESPN. Gary Thorne and Bill Clement will be bringing all of the action to you. Same Thursday in Detroit. June 7th at Detroit. And then John and I will be back here on Fox June the 10th. At Detroit if necessary June 12th. And at Philadelphia if there is a 7th game. And a lot of people forecast that. We'll have that one on Fox, too. Well, there's Terry Murray, who played for both these teams at one time. His first defense partner when he came to Philadelphia was Andre Moose Dupont, a member of those championship teams here. And he also played for the Detroit Red Wings. In a part of Detroit's history that is forgotten by a lot of people locally because they have decided to. But prior to the Ilitch family taking over this team in 1982, they had missed the playoffs 16 out of 18 years after winning the regular season title 7 years in a row in the 50s.
And what the Detroit Red Wings did was draft Steve Yzerman. And he became the beacon for their hockey club, and a very proud player and now a very proud franchise. And the other thing they did was make sure that they got the jump on most teams over in Europe. Neil Smith and Krista Rockstrom both belong to the Rangers now, but they were working for Detroit at the time. And they made some great choices. For instance, Konstantinov late in the draft, Fedorov 4th rounder, Kozlov a 3rd rounder. I mean, they did a great job in getting Europeans into the NHL before most teams did, and that's really set together their franchise.
The easy part was drafting them. The hard part was getting them out of the block. A lot of cloak and dagger there. Zubris jostled a bit, still battling. Dinas Zubris trying to get away from Kozlov. Kozlov outmanned, got it to Fetisov, then on for McCarty. Couldn't get it out. Brind'amour put it in on goal. Paddled away by Vernon and taken by Darren McCarty again. And he just pitched it high. Under 5 minutes to go first period. There's been some pretty good hitting. Some time when the Flyers have dominated. Some time also when Detroit has been able to get some good execution around Hextall, but not get it past. Only shorthanded did they do that. Konstantinov rattled it, and Hextall stopped for Paul Coffin. Guy who started the year in Detroit. Puck angled back along, and Lidstrom able to flick it further. Kept alive by Podine, but taken by Draper. Nubbed it along, and back for Samuelson's shot that slowed. Now Podine falls down trying to play it. Still they battle. Otto jostled off by McCarty, and Draper able to play it through. Carried on by Nicholas Lidstrom. Fired one that went off Samuelson. Samuelson's pass is stolen. Around in front, Kocur. He scored! Joe Kocur, who is playing on a 30 and over team at Christmas.
And they celebrated the Joe. Joey Kocur started in the NHL in Detroit. Scotty Bowman and the coaching staff can't believe how Joey Kocur, how much he knows the game. Kjell Samuelsson blocked the shot, got the puck, and threw it blind right here. Right through the middle. There's Joe Kocur reading the play. He's got another man with him, and I think Hextall was thinking the pass from Kocur across to Draper. Instead, Kocur goes to the backhand and roofed it. I mean, I'm talking a bullseye major league play. Look at the roof job right underneath the crossbar. He used Draper on the other side as a decoy. And Hextall was thinking pass. And right away, Kocur goes and scores on the giveaway from Kjell Samuelsson back in the lineup after neck surgery. And it's 2-1 Detroit.
Kocur unassisted at 15:56. Lindros across for Leclerc, left it behind. Lapointe nudged it on. Larionov hoisted off. So now Desjardins with 3:45 to go in the first. And down for an icing. Joe Kocur was playing at Christmas time on a 30 and over team that was called Joe Kocur's hockey school team. That way he made the squad.
As we welcome you back to the New Dodge Intermission Report here in Philadelphia, an intense first period of play. Red Wings did not back down at all. They lead the Flyers by the score of 2-1. James Brown along with Dave Maloney. And Dave, I know you were talking about how intense that period was. Red Wings most impressive.
Well, that's the thing. The Red Wings were impressive, JB, from the fact that they get there from the get-go, weren't intimidated by the crowd or the Philadelphia Spectrum, and continued to forecheck with intensity and check in all zones of the ice. This was the Detroit Hockey Club that we saw against Colorado, and I think that was the question coming in. What kind of Detroit team were we going to see? But I want to tell you, they went after Philadelphia. It was a wonderful period because of the fact Detroit stayed with their game.
Let's take a look at how Detroit capitalized on opportunities in that first period.
Well, there you go. That's Eric Lindros, and he got quite an ovation here, but I don't care what goalie's back there. You want him to stand square. You can't 2-on-0 any goalie, east to west, shorthanded, Maltby from Draper. Now, down low, watch brind'amour to the left of your screen. He's going to whack at the puck, but because he didn't touch the puck, that guy, Lindros, will get credit for the goal. Folks, this is a fundamentally bad play in hockey. You cannot throw the puck up the middle. Joey Kocur scores his first Stanley Cup goal. My God, James, he was playing in a beer league in Detroit at the start of this season. He had retired Joey Kocur with his first Stanley Cup goal.
I'm sure he had quite a few people cheering for him. Now let's go back and talk about again what Detroit has been doing to capitalize on the mistakes by the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, you talked about that forechecking, but smarts also coming into play.
Absolutely smarts. And forechecking is not so much speed as it is smarts. It's the ability to read a play. So what we have here, Detroit, not only off the forecheck, but in all areas of the ice, there's a thought that speed kills. Speed killed the Flyers here off of a forecheck and forcing the Flyers to turn the puck over. So that's what they did, and that's why they're up 2-1 on the road, game 1 after 1.
Now, mindful again that Ron Hextall was left on an island before. You said the Flyers wanted to get him moving side to side.
Well, our Joe Micheletti talked to Terry Murray, the coach of the Flyers, beforehand, and he wanted Detroit to be shooting from the outside. They wanted open, get the puck, let Hextall get square to the puck. He didn't get square twice, unforced turnovers. That's it, Detroit up 2-1.
All right, folks, when we come back, some of you will hear from the commissioner of the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman. But first, a reminder to tune in to the third period to see if you've got the winning game piece in the Quaker State Get Cup Crazy game. The quest for the cup continues right here on Fox. Back in Philadelphia, the speedy and alert Red Wings leading the Flyers after one period of play by the score of 2-1. James Brown, Dave Maloney, and the commissioner of the NHL, Gary Bettman. But before we get to Mr. Bettman, for those of you keeping track at home, upon further review, that goal was given to Rob brind'amour, not Eric Lindros, so we want to make that correction. Commissioner, first of all, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We're delighted to be here.
You know, you're in your 5th year in your tenure as commissioner. Most business leaders assess where they are against their game plan. Walk us through your report card against the major elements.
Well, we leave the self-grading or the grading to others, but there were certain things that we wanted to accomplish coming in. and it all evolved around stability. We wanted to make sure we had an organization, some of the owners think maybe it's even too big now, to service the fans, service the media, service the sport, and help make it grow. We needed a new collective bargaining agreement with the players and the officials. We went through a little bit of pain to get it, but we've got a good system now, and we've got great labor peace and a good relationship with the Players Association, and we can build on that. Finally, we wanted to get some greater exposure for this game, and you guys and Fox are all about that. And so what we wanted to do is get the building blocks in place so we could help grow this game.
Now, Commissioner, a couple of weeks ago, Mario Lemieux told James that he was retiring because there was too much clutching and grabbing. He raises a couple of issues. Do the superstars, should they have a different platform? And is the ice too small?
Well, I don't think the superstars should have a different platform, but I do believe that this game is better when it's more wide open. A game like we're seeing tonight. The skilled players have to be able to show their stuff. We have to raise the common denominator, not lower it. And we've been working on that. When you look at tape for this game now and last year as opposed to 3-4 years ago, the game's more wide open. We need more work on it. I hope there were other reasons Mario saw fit to retire. We're going to miss him, but we're working on it, and you can't just change it like throwing a light switch.
So with working on it, would that include maybe experimenting with eliminating a red line, or how? When you say you're working on it, how are you working?
Well, we're working on making sure the officials call the type of game that we want. Our officials have an impossible job. They do a great job at it, but we've tried to get them to call a more open game, get rid of the interference, particularly in the neutral zone, and that part's improved dramatically. There's been discussion at the general manager level about pulling out the red line, about moving in the goal lines, tinkering with it, but you gotta, I'm very conservative when it comes to this game. We've got a great game, and you gotta tinker. You can't make radical changes. You gotta deal with the fine points first.
Well, in the meantime, you've got a league in town's old original 6 teams. Are you happy with this matchup?
You know, I'm happy for a matchup that's exciting, that the fans respond to. We can't, at the league level, root for anybody, but we want to make sure our fans are getting rewarded with great hockey, and certainly our fans are, particularly those in Detroit and Philadelphia.
Commissioner Gary Bettman back with more as the Cup continues after this. Thanks.
Hey, Michael J. Fox here. The coolest game on earth is getting a little crazy.
Oh, did you see that? Oh, is this a wild and woolly one? What a save! Oh, mercy! Do you believe it? I don't believe it. Holy moly! Oh, man! Holy Toledo! Wow!
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
What a play! What a show!
And you gotta get Cup crazy.
It doesn't get any better than this, baby!
Stay tuned for the MasterCard $1 Million Stanley Cup shot live during the second intermission. But there's more hockey coming your way first when the NHL on Fox returns as we take a look at Joe Kocur scoring his first Stanley Cup final goal. The Beer League refugee doing the job.
So the second period about to start. Philadelphia will have the power play, trailing 2-1. The stats brought to you by Bud Ice. The shots 10-8. Philadelphia. Scoring chances slim in number, but 5-4 Detroit. Faceoffs won 16-6. Outstanding time to Kocur, 1:43 at the beginning of the period.
The Detroit coaching staff happy with the way they've been able to contain Detroit in front of their own goal to this point. Scotty Bowman's club, though, now shorthanded for the 3rd time. The Flyers never got much going at even strength, so they look like they may have to rely on their power play in this game. Detroit coaches told us that bad decisions in the neutral zone hurt their club and stopped them from getting the puck deep, therefore no sustained forecheck, something that the Flyers are famous for. But they are 1 for 2 on the power play, and now continue on their 3rd.
Rod Brind'amour to take the opening face-off that's won by Steve Yzerman, the captain of Detroit, and spun back down by Konstantinov. Konstantinov and Lidstrom, the defense. We mentioned Yzerman. The other forward up front is Sandstrom. John LeClair angled it in. The read and the clear by Vernon. Nienema and Coffey, the point men, the defensemen, back on the power play.
Mike Vernon will not wander and handle the puck unless he's absolutely sure he has time to do it.
This time he's got time. Flings it off the glass. It bounces down for Lindros. Tried to get it in front. Still trying. Lindros around behind, but he lost it. Konstantinov could not get it out. Paul Coffey keeps it on. Nienema drive. Deflected, and it went just wide. Brind'amour allows it to go to Leclerc. Misplay, though. Konstantinov trickled one. Yzerman able to send it further. Thomas Sandstrom up with it. 90-footer was unable to go more than about 5 inches. Now it's wedged ahead for Howard Chuck. And he had a man breaking Zubras and couldn't get it to him.
He's a 3-on-1. Sandstrom's got to just dump the puck in. He took a big shot. It was blocked. Nienema set up a 3-on-1. And Philadelphia never got the shot, but what a chance it was.
Murphy jostles with Renberg. Puck flipped back along, knocked down by Shanahan and forced to neutral ice. 20 left on the power play to the Flyers. Larry Murphy turns. Vernon there, flung it away from him. Came over for Shanahan. Leaping grab and a good keep by Desjardins. Shanahan got help from Murphy to clear it back down. In 2 seconds, in 1. And Kocur is out. And takes the pass, but was quickly run off by Klatt. Kjell Samuelsson back to Klatt, angled on a cross for Peter Svoboda. That chipped away to Kocur again. Joe Kocur, backhander, fought off by the waffle board of Hextall. Konstantinov playing in deep. Samuelsson tipped it along for Podine. Sean Podine just lobbed it back out. Fetisov to take it on defense. Coffey fresh from the bench has it. Lays it on a cross for Podine. Podine run off by Fetisov. Puck back to the point. Samuelsson hurried a shot. Deflected high and it bounced down. Scramble on out and get it with the glove was Vernon.
All 5 make that 6 Red Wings right there, including Mike Vernon. Coffey did a nice job by not creating the offside. He put a lateral pass along the blue line, which kept the Flyers onside, then moved into the zone. Here's the shot. Look at all the Flyers go to the net, and all the Red Wings come right back and collapse. They respect the size of the Flyers. 6 Red Wings are right in front, 6 of them. Shot was deflected up high. Vernon doesn't see it. It drops down. He does not panic, but he catches it with a glove. And the Detroit Red Wings come right back in deep and help out Mike Vernon. They collapse real deep. The puck there never hit the stick of Lacroix. It hit his arm. Now look at Vernon not flail. The puck actually crawled down his arm. There it finds the glove and he hangs on. Mike Vernon spread out across the goal line and did not panic and ended up making a save without even looking at, or without even seeing the puck.
Boy, as you watch that replay, you marvel at how he did not panic. How could he not? He had no idea where it was.
Experience. Young goaltenders would be flailing around and the arms would be going and perhaps knock it into the net. Vernon just calmly waited near the goal line and the puck found him.
Aaron Ward. McCarty. Maltby bringing it back. Kirk Maltby with a 90-footer. Hextall tapped it aside. Peter Svoboda chased off and walled by Maltby. Good hit put on Nienema. That came from McCarty. Meanwhile, back up ice with it is John Druce. Red Wings with 3 men back. Vernon flung it off the glass. Red Wings shift from defense to offense. Angled back ahead from McCarty. Trouble on the read and then spun it off the stick of Hextall.
Flyers had too many men on the ice. Vernon with a good pass up ice.
Boy, some heavy hitting by both teams. Back to Ward. Shoots one that ricocheted off Nienema. Big Dan Kornick with it. And then he's rammed by McCarty.
And this kid Nienema, the youngster on the blue line, has blocked a lot of shots here for the Flyers.
We mentioned the heavy hitting, some severe crunching into new boards and glass that don't give much.
And it's been good hitting where you're not seeing too many reaction plays by the players. Draper there after Maltby had thrown a hit. There you see McCarty moving in hard on the big guy, Kornick. McCarty played a lot against Leclerc in the first period, Mike. And we saw that the Flyers did not have a lot of what they call sustained offense in the first period, what they're famous for, the forecheck and the battle down deep.
Eric Lindros played 6 minutes and 36 seconds in the first 20-minute period.
Averaged about 40 seconds a shift, which is good. The playoffs are just starting in the finals here, and it could be a long series, so you try to play it smart regarding the length of your shifts. Fedorov only played 4 minutes and 2 seconds in the first period. That's somewhat interesting. Not very much ice time for him.
Terry Murray was saying that Eric Lindros has about 3 minutes a game less this year than he did last year. Here's Yzerman twirling with it. And he attributed that to the depth of his team. Eric doesn't have to play as much. Now Lidstrom. Angled it ahead. Fed ahead by Sandstrom, but taken by Rod Brind'amour, who played 8.5 minutes in the first. More than anyone. Howardchuk. The heart around.
That's a good play by Howardchuk. Didn't mess with the puck in the neutral zone. Put the puck in away from Vernon. Only the Flyers couldn't recover the thing, and now there's an icing. At least it forced the face-off deep in the Detroit zone. I would think the Lindros line or the Otto line would be next up, and that means that the Flyers would have a good chance of winning the draw. See, now Detroit is the visitor. They've got to put their players on the ice first. The referee now has put his arm up to stop Detroit with any more line changes. Now the Flyers can match. Now, Scotty Bowman there was just talking to Barry Smith. See that? Scotty talked to Barry. Barry then tells the players. Scotty doesn't too often tell the players direct. He tells Barry. Barry tells the players, and that's the system they use. The referee now has made sure that both teams have made their changes, and it's Lindros against Fedorov, and Lindros wins the draw.
Rolled around and taken by Fetisov. Lindros waiting for it. Jammed away by Fedorov and started back out again. Shanahan wedged one that's taken by Leclerc. Flyers defense play it. 11 shots apiece in the game. 2-1 Detroit ahead. The goal of margin right now, a breakaway, unassisted goal by Joe Kocur.
This big line not able to skate so far for the Flyers. Detroit said they're going to try and take away the defense. If you take away the defense, maybe Eric and John Leclerc and Renberg can't get that speed going that they need.
Let's check in downstairs with Joe Micheletti and a Hall of Famer. Bobby Orr. Bobby, you were playing here back in 1974 in the finals. What goes through your mind when you watch this game?
Tough game, just like I'm watching tonight, Joe. It's a very physical game, and they're like the old Flyers. They take the body, and it's a very good hockey game out there, and it's going to be a heck of a series.
Do you have a pick for the finals?
I have got to give the edge to the Flyers with Eric, but you know, Eric's got to play the top of his game, and of course there's got to be a supporting cast, and I think I've got to give a little edge to the Flyers.
Thanks for the time, Bobby. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Back up. Those two gentlemen will accompany Laura Wall of Anaheim, California to center ice at the end of this period, and the $1 million shot will take place. And here is a backhander that's held by Hextall, and it came from Slava Fetisov.
Bobby Orr's team was beaten 1-0 by Bernie Perrant and the Flyers right here in this building. Gilles Gilbert, not in this building, next door at the Spectrum. Gilles Gilbert was the goaltender for Boston. This time it's Ronnie Hextall hanging on as Larionov sees some ice against Eric Lindros. Interesting here too, Mike. The Lindros line stays out. However, Renberg goes off and Brind'amour comes on for the draw.
May 19th of 74, the day that game took place. Bobby Orr himself provided a signature goal in 1970 of a sweep of St. Louis that became the badge of a championship for him, and the official ushering in of an era in which defensemen no longer stayed at home all the time. Some guys had tremendous skills to move up ice. Paul Coffey is an example of that, but Bobby Orr was a standard bearer. Here comes Igor Larionov giving over to Kozlov. Kozlov worked over and smacked to the boards by Terrian. Meanwhile, the puck comes to Lidstrom. Yzerman shoots one, and that ricocheted back down. Hustling for it is Larry Murphy. Getting there first was Leclerc, and he dribbled one that is covered by Vernon, and play is stopped.
Flyers trying to force something, make it happen. A good block by Lindros. But Detroit recovers. Very schooled defensively and never gave up the shot. You'll see the puck get back to the defenseman. Lidstrom right here. He tries to get a better angle. Look at the block by Lindros. Flyers is 3-on-2 here. Renberg will hold up Murphy right there. Holds him right up. But nothing developed. Leclerc was not able to hit Lindros. Vernon easily made the play, and nothing happened.
John, in your playing time, did you ever have a contract that kicked in if you won 3 games in the Stanley Cup Finals to an automatic 1-year extension? That's what Mike Vernon has. It's only $2.3 million if he wins 3 games in the finals.
And the thing is, and he fully expects that if he does get that contract and the Detroit Red Wings win, he won't be a Red Wing next year. Osgood, the backup, his salary goes from $750 grand to 1.6. And there's a third goaltender by the name of Hodgson who's very good. So trying to pass it on to the younger guys.
Here is Aaron Ward laying it back in. Kocur around behind, checked off by Coffey. Lacroix tries to get to it. Kocur still able to keep control along the boards. Chris Draper trying to help him, but it's Kocur taken to the corner, worked over a bit by Coffey, had his jersey pulled. Kocur still.
And only 2 Red Wings deep. Third man was high.
Ward's shot went wide. There'll be a penalty coming up.
How about that? Draper and Kocur battled. And finally, Detroit finds themselves on the power play. The Muckers and the Grinders got it done. Joey Kocur wants the puck deep, and then he wants to battle for the puck with whoever's there. Here's the 2-on-2. You just see 2 players for each team there. Maltby stays high, but Lacroix will take the penalty as Joe Kocur did all the work. Lacroix will end up grabbing a hold of his man, throwing him down to the ice. And that was Draper, and now Detroit gets to go on the power play with a 2-1 lead.
0 for 1 with 2 shots on their earlier power play. Steve Yzerman has it. Yzerman onto the back. Lidstrom gives it back over to Yzerman again. Yzerman sent one in front, trying to connect on a pass, but it went off a Flyer defenseman's skate. Still the Red Wings keep it. Lapointe rolls it on the backhand. Sandstrom trying to twist with it. Worked over pretty well by Terrian, so it's Yzerman again. Gives to the back. Lidstrom a shot. Knocked down in front by a defenseman. Lapointe again. Back to Lidstrom once more. They play some catch. Couple of Red Wings move in deep.
Lidstrom wants to pass the puck across, but Otto won't let him. Here goes Fedorov in.
Yzerman to Fedorov, and the shot got the glass.
It's a set play. It's called a down low play by Detroit. It's their set play for this series. They want the plays down low across the top of the goal crease. They tried it twice with Fedorov, and it hasn't worked.
brind'amour drills it back down on Vernon. Halfway through the power play. Fedorov could not get by brind'amour. They rag it and neutralize with a pass back to Lidstrom. They're set for the hard-around blast, but Hextall right there to spike it loose. Hextall along, but it went through brind'amour. Punched ahead further. Moving on is Svoboda. Down to the ice he goes, and a penalty coming up.
Good forcing there. Svoboda, the defenseman. And the rest of the Flyers up front. You know, Detroit tried a set play on the face-off in winning the draw. And then Fedorov sneaking down. Fedorov playing the point on the power play. He's played a lot of defense during the regular season. Here's a look at the penalty. Fedorov moved in, but Svoboda, the defenseman, kept the play alive. And there you can see Fedorov tripping him up at the end of the shift. Svoboda down, Fedorov in the box. Earlier, Detroit tried to play twice. Fedorov was set up beautifully, but missed the net moving in from the blue line. And Detroit knew going into this series, that was the play they were going to try and make work. They almost did.
You saw Lacroix and Fedorov. The 2 teams will be a man short for 40 seconds. After 40 seconds, barring further penalties, it will be a Philadelphia power play. In 4-on-4 time, Detroit has scored 2 goals and allowed 1. The Flyers have scored 3 goals and allowed none. That's when play is 4-on-4. And that's what we have when play resumes.
And for Detroit, they've got 4 Russians on the ice. Konstantinov, Fetisov, the D, and up front Larionov and Kozlov. Now for the Flyers, they have to discuss this and know that this is a group that will try to recover and regroup and then hit the long pass.
Larionov wins to Fetisov. Konstantinov and Kozlov are out. 4 Russians. They'd love to have 5, but they're short. Larionov bringing it off. Drops to Konstantinov, then over to Kozlov. Drills one that ricocheted off a skate. Subras peels off and hands to Svoboda. And Svoboda just curls back. In 14 seconds, Svoboda's team will get a man back in a power play. Desjardins on, and it's angled in by Subras. In 4 seconds, the man advantage begins for Philadelphia. Detroit with puck possession. It's across to Fetisov, out of the box, run off by Lacroix. But the Red Wings golf it back in.
Now Lacroix goes out, and this will set up the power play. Lindros is up at the Detroit blue line. 1:06 to go for the power play for Philadelphia.
Draper and Maltby up front on the penalty kill. Played back down by Lidstrom.
Tenacious back check by Maltby. First attack stopped at the Detroit blue line. Let's see what happens now on the second attack by the Flyers.
Nienema hands over to Paul Coffey. His pass went off brind'amour, jammed along by Lidstrom. Angled across by Nienema.
It's a third attack, no good. Here's the fourth, no good. 35 seconds to go.
Murphy with a pass that's cut by Lindros. Shooting, and he got the glass with the shot. Onto the back, Nienema. Quickly back over to Paul Coffey. Coffey to Nienema. Drive, save, Vernon. To the boards, Lindros. Took a chop from Murphy, and he came up with a puck and cleared it back out.
Now, Coffey is setting up Nienema with the one-time pass for the one-time shot. Nienema faces Coffey, and since he's a left-hand shot, he can shoot the puck off the pass.
Zubras rolled it behind. 2 seconds and 1. Fedorov is out. Up with it, Shanahan. The pass across is gloved down by Brown and given to Fedorov. Fedorov with a shot. That one blocked. Fedorov again! It's in on Hextall. Kicked off his pad and lifted back along but not out. Rouse keeps the pressure on Konstantinov. A shot. It hit the pipe. Turnaround shot, and Hextall got a piece of that. Still they battle. It is Rouse to the slot with a shot that's tipped to the seats. Oh, man.
(2-1) Detroit. Look at the Flyers all running around to one side as Detroit puts the pressure on, and listen to what happens. There was a goal post on a deflection by Shanahan as Detroit put some pressure on in the second period. As Detroit has 8 of the 11 shots, there's another look at the deflection by Shanahan. Got in behind Ronnie Hextall and was almost 3-1.
Yzerman on the face-off with Otto. Squibs to Hextall for the set to Shell Samuelson.
There's that perfect left wing lock again by Detroit. Ronnie Hextall smart here. Cover it up, start over again. You know, the Flyers won the draw. They won the draw, but on their breakout, Detroit played the left wing lock, and there was no completion of a pass, and the Flyers couldn't get out of the zone. So Terry Murray, he looks a little concerned. He's not getting the flow through the neutral zone that his team is noted for.
You know, the main thing that Joel Otto and his teammates wanted was to establish the forecheck, and it's halfway through regulation time almost now, and it still hasn't happened.
Well, you've got to get through the neutral zone to get the puck deep. Then you can establish the forecheck and punish Detroit's defensemen, but so far the Flyers can't do that. It's a whole new system they're seeing here. Even though they're controlling and winning a lot of the draws, they're not getting through with speed, and if you have speed through the neutral zone, then you can bang and crash. See, here they win the draw again. Now there's a set breakout. What happens?
Swatted back by Thomas Sandstrom. Howard Chuck turns with it. He's checked but got it along for Desjardins. Zubras tries to foist it out, and the Red Wings get it. Pass from McCarty was blocked in by Howard Chuck in an offside. Next week on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, the new-look Mets head to Cincinnati to take on Barry Larkin and the Reds. Plus, other regional action coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central with In the Zone, followed by all the action. Check local listings for the game and time in your area on Fox. Jim Turk Evers, native of South Philadelphia, a part of the Flyers organization for now a decade and a half. Began as a stick boy in Maine after he worked with the old Philadelphia Firebirds of the North American League, but entered the Flyers organization with the Maine Mariners of the American League and then wound up coming down here, and he's back home to stay. Chipped along by Sandstrom, kept by Fetisov. Desjardins then on to Klatt. Knocked down by the high stick of Otto, and for that reason play is stopped. Joel Otto, a native of Elk River, Minnesota. And if you just think back, as the Otto family probably does at this time of year, a lot of old memories come rushing back. 3 decades ago in Elk River, Kelly and Bob Otto, like so many parents, provided travel and encouragement. But watch Big Joel. We have some rare film footage of him in one of his games going through everyone. He's a head taller than everybody else on the ice. What a play. What a play. Two of his three brothers, Kirk and Craig, still live back in Minnesota. The other brother, Eric, is in Corning, New York. How proud they must be of this guy. He's won a championship with Calgary in '89. And now hoping for one with Philadelphia.
Wearing a visor because of a badly fractured nose that he received a couple of series ago. However, the nose is pretty good. Breathe okay.
Well, that has to be a consideration. You need so much oxygen to go back and forth, especially in the humidity that we've had in Philadelphia just today. Konstantinov turned that one back up the boards, and it's off the stick of Fetisov. Pitchfork back along. Konstantinov gloved it back.
Flyer fans here now trying to get their team going with some chanting, as Detroit is not allowed much here in the second. Only 3 shots by the Flyers.
That one deflected wide by Murphy. Larry Murphy down to the ice. He goes. Meanwhile, they scrap for it. Larionov trying to stalemate Leclerc. It's off the back of the goal. Losing sight of it is Bill McCreary, the referee. And so play stopped. We'll be back.
Joey Kocur walking near the Detroit bench. He was yanked down near Ron Hextall in his last shift and twisted his knee a little bit. And sometimes you can just walk it off. He's returned to the bench now. And we'll see if he's able to make his next shift.
He has the goal of margin on the breakaway. Niederma's shot save. Covering is Vernon. And the puck wound up going over. Looked like the Flyers were really upset, but it occurred after the whistle.
Mike, the best offense that Lindros' line's getting is from faceoffs. He wins them clean. Watch this on the backhand side, back to the point. Now watch him drive to the net. Yzerman's with him, but Lindros plows away, almost a deflection, finds a rebound, and then he's thrown down to the ice surface by Steve Yzerman. This was Kocur's last shift. There, stick through the legs by Therrien, twisted down, and that twisted the knee a little bit of Joe Kocur, who struggled to get back to the bench. But again, Lindros loves to pull the puck back to Niederma on his backhand. And if he does, he drives to the net. Oh, that time he tricked everybody, including me, and went forward.
I do apologize. That one did not go over, but it looked for a moment like it had. Here's Fedorov cruising in, shooting. I think that one was in and popped back out quickly, just under the crossbar. And it does. It is a goal, and it is 3-1. They just restrung these nets today, so there's a lot of pop to them.
I'll tell you what, Joe Louis is celebrating, and so they should. What a shot by Sergei Fedorov. Lindros fooled me. He went forward with the puck on Fedorov. Vernon plays it, moves it. Now watch the Flyers here pinching. Pinching. Here goes Fedorov with a 2-on-1, and folks, watch this wrist shot. Snap, top corner, over the shoulder of Ronnie Hextall. There's the shot, a big-time Major League shot again as Hextall's beaten up high for the 3rd time by Detroit, and Detroit has the 3-1 lead. They took care of defense, generated offense, and are starting to control this game.
6th of the playoffs for Fedorov, who in the first 4 games of the playoffs had no points at all, but then picked up 14 in the next 12 and has gotten a big one here. Game 6 against Colorado, Aaron Miller briefed him, and he couldn't even talk for about 5 minutes, but he returned and got one of the key goals in the clincher. Puck deflected along. Fetisov has it, knocked away from him, and another offside call stopping the clock.
And Peter Svoboda's been in the Flyer locker room. He just now is returning to the bench for the Flyers. What happens is with Ron Hextall to the right side of the Flyers bench, to our left as we look, he's got to make his way all the way down to the defensive end of the bench. All 6 defensemen sit down there. The 6th defense sit at the end where their goaltender is. The forwards sit at the other end. Those will be all forwards. Those are all defensemen. And the attack side is there so the forwards can change quickly and get in on the attack. The defense can change quickly to defend.
Fedorov's goal comes from Larry Murphy at 11:41. This might be icing. It is. And it'll come back near Mike Vernon.
Just in watching, I'm sorry, Mike, just in watching this series to this point, time and space for the Flyers, they just don't have a lot of it. There's one of the fine, fine young players, Chris Therien, leads all players with plus-minus in the NHL throughout the playoffs, a +16. Here's another look at Svoboda. He can't go. He's gone back, so the Flyers are down a defenseman to 5. As Svoboda, you can see, was limping on that play. Joe Micheletti's got some info.
Yeah, Peter Svoboda was hitting the right foot with the puck, JD, and having a difficult time. He went to the Flyers locker room once, returned. They're afraid to take the skate off because they're afraid of the possible swelling. He came back to the bench, found out he couldn't go, and now is back in the Flyer locker room again.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. Rindberg on the wing with Rod Brind'amour. Face-off controlled by the Red Wings. They get it to neutral ice. Larionov couldn't stop it, though.
Once again, Lidstrom and Murphy, the two defensemen, they've been out there all game long, or most of it, against Eric Lindros. All right, now Brind'amour's on the line with Lindros in place of Leclerc.
Shanahan fed it by Larionov. Rindberg with trouble. Poppy kicks it to him. Got it up the wall for Brind'amour to start out with it. 7:13 left in the second. 3-1 in favor of Detroit. Lindros wedged off behind by Lapointe. Brind'amour there tried to play it through, could not. And it skipped back up for Brendan Shanahan to bring ahead. Shanahan cruising in, and Platt fed it away. The Red Wings are caught in the midst of a change. 2-on-1. Otto moving in, could not get it to Brind'amour as it was blocked off by Bob Rouse. Platt's pass is taken by Maltby. Boy, what a play made back there by Rouse.
Joe Kocur back on, didn't miss a shift with a knee. John Leclerc was not on the wing with Eric Lindros. Brind'amour replaced him. It makes you wonder about Leclerc, maybe an injury problem.
Good point. Here's Draper. Taken out by Desjardins, and Platt steps ahead. Bodine put it back in. Well, with the hitting we've seen in the first period and a half, wouldn't be surprising that there's some guys that can't continue right now.
And John Leclerc was hit a lot in the Rangers series, as well as he played, but he did get hit a lot. And you wonder, is there a problem?
Offside again. Clock stopped once more.
And the Flyers had themselves a 2-on-1. Always with the Flyers, a 2-on-1 play. They love to pass the puck. Great play at the blue line as the Flyers stood up, and Klatt on the back check creates the turnover. 2-on-1. There comes Rouse off the bench. He's back there, and he played the pass beautifully, not completed. Now the Flyers, Trent Klatt does a great job on the back check on Shanahan. Watch him out of nowhere. There he is. A backhand pass. Rouse now has just come off the bench for Detroit, and he hustled back into position, or it would have been a two-man breakaway. There's a look at John Leclerc. Interesting. He's been with Howard, Chuck, and Zubras, not with Eric Lindros. So Terry Murray juggling things up here for the Flyers as they try to generate some offense.
This is Yzerman bringing it ahead. Yzerman could not get by Shell Samuelson. Niinema able to take it away. Niinema with a little toss ahead now to Lacroix. Lacroix off the wing, and Druce is in. Druce with a shot that's saved by Vernon, and he covers.
And the biggest save of the game for Vernon. The left wing lock here was broken by the Flyers. Flat out broken. And a great pass to John Druce, who was almost tackled by Fetisov, but Vernon made the save. All right, Druce seems to do something almost every shift he gets for the Flyers. He stayed wide. Look at the red jerseys, the Red Wings. Sandstrom head across. Here is Druce staying wide. Look at him stay wide. What a pass. Bullseye, he's in. Now right here, Fetisov does everything but tackle Druce, and he couldn't. And Vernon the save. Maybe Fetisov harassed Druce enough. But watch Druce cut to his right. Get to the right, get open. There he goes, to his right, got open. He moves in. Fetisov knocked him a little bit off balance, and Vernon made the save. Oh, that's some play. Some play as the left wing lock was broken. Vernon stayed up, moved across, no hole through the legs, and Druce was stopped. Fourth line for the Flyers get the good scoring chance.
Going to see some more time as things move on, too. You know, if John Leclerc is not hurt and has just been moved around to another line, does this represent the first significant blink in the series?
Detroit changed their formation and lines going into this game. Flyers did not. However, Detroit has forced the Flyers to adjust things, to try and find a way to make it happen. And on the last play, I'll tell you what, McQuarrie, a great pass to John Druce, and he moved in on the break, and Vernon made the big save. Now Lindros is out, Mike. He's on the right side with McQuarrie. And Druce is over on the left side. So the Flyers are really juggling things up.
Are they ever? Samuelson back on defense, working with Paul Coffey now. Samuelson tried to chip it through Sandstrom. That didn't work, and it's stalemated at the line. This telecast, presented by authority of the National Hockey League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast, including the imposition of a charge for viewing it, without the express written consent of the National Hockey League, is prohibited. You saw that shots on goal panel. I think the significant thing, too, to Detroit's progress has been that they have not been outshot in any of their Stanley Cup playoff games and only equaled once by Colorado.
And what I find interesting here is the defense for Detroit. They're not manhandling Lindros. It's Murphy and Lidstrom. They're not known as guys that go out and knock people silly. It's just play the body a little bit, play the stick, and play the puck. And you see Lindros with 18 shifts. He's gotten 2 shots. He threw 1 here in the second period and went high and wide. There was a rocket, but no sustained offense, and his line has been broken up. Either that, or you can think about Lindros getting a lot more ice time as the game moves along and his team down 3-1.
Murphy and Lidstrom have been on for 8 of the 15 first shifts that Lindros has had, including 4 of the first 6 here in the second period. But half are a little better.
But most of those at even strength.
Exactly.
You know, Mike, I mean, you take the power play ones out of there, and these 2 guys are on there almost every single time at even strength. And it's not brawn. It's more brains trying to beat them as opposed to muscle and Konstantinov in the face. And maybe Konstantinov sometimes can wake people up. You know what I mean? To get them mad.
Therrien, a shot that ricocheted wide. Desjardins moves in, but it's swept from him by Thomas Sandstrom. Off of Desjardins. On to brind'amour. And right back in, and Vernon stops it behind.
Leclerc on the ice with brind'amour. A real change here for the Flyers. I didn't see this line combination once in the Rangers series with Zubras, Leclerc, and brind'amour. A real juggling act here for the Flyers to jumpstart their offense.
And Leclerc looks fine.
Yeah, he does. That is a good sign for the Flyers. You're always concerned about their best, any team's best players becoming injured in a series, and both of these teams are relatively healthy going into this series.
Rod Brind'amour has been the horse of the night. He's played almost half of the time in the first period and about half the second.
Now you go all the way out to Vancouver. A little south of there is a beautiful island called Vancouver Island. And the salmon capital, I think, of the world, Campbell River. That's where Rod Brind'amour is from, and he doesn't fish. Can you imagine that? Mom's on the school board. His dad's a pipe fitter. They're here watching. A good guy. It's nice to see him do well.
We have a penalty. Another interference call, the 5th of the night.
3-1 Detroit. Detroit uses the left wing lock. Here's the left arm headlock by Fetisov on the youngest player in the playoffs is Zubras. Look at this one. There's the arm right around the throat. And the good play by Zubras to work to draw the power play. And the Flyers need a power play. Their fans know it. They're standing and cheering right now.
Lindros, Brind'amour, and Leclerc up front. Puck back to Niinema, then to Brind'amour again. For Niinema, hurries one in front, and it ricocheted off a skate. It's played by Larionov back into the glove of Coffey.
The Flyers want the puck in front of the net because Leclerc and Lindros are there. And with their size and a loose puck, they usually get to it.
Coffey's pass came right across for the clear back as far as center ice by Lidstrom. Under 4.5 to play in the second. It was 1-1 midway in the first. Joe Kocur scored on a breakaway 2-1, and Fedorov rifled one top shelf midway in the second to make it 3-1 Detroit. The earlier goal scorers, Maltby for Detroit and Rod Brind'amour. That was changed from Lindros. Brind'amour for Philadelphia. Lindros is out there as it's lofted in by Niinema. Off the stick of Mike Vernon. Dumped along the wall, but it took the Detroit bounce over for Draper. Second effort, he got it back to neutral ice.
Niederma's done a nice job knocking pucks down, blocking shots, but he now needs a change. So the big unit can't get it going here, and they now go off the ice with under a minute to go for the Flyers. Lindros off the ice.
Oh, Coffey ahead to Desjardins. Desjardins can't get it through Rouse. And Murphy. And out of play.
Right into the bench of the Flyers.
Well, when you consider Larry Murphy and the rags to riches story being with Toronto and looking like he was going to have no sniff at the playoffs, and now he's competing for the Stanley Cup. He's won it twice with Pittsburgh, and the breakup that he made of that 2-on-1 earlier in this period is going to look pretty big if Detroit goes on to win this.
Murphy came over from Toronto. Detroit picked up his salary for the rest of this season. Next season, if Murphy stays with Detroit, Toronto will pick up $800,000 of his salary while he plays for Detroit. Not bad. No, not bad. So now with the stoppage and the change, Lindros now has gone to the bench, off the bench, changing sticks here to buy time to get him a rest. He didn't have much of a break. And how about this, Mike? He's back on the point for the power play. On the point. We haven't seen that very often either.
Very interesting. Murphy just slashed it back down the ice. Half a minute to go on the Philadelphia power play.
Terry Murray's trying everything. I mean, he is trying everything to get offense here.
Desjardins angled it for Druce. Gloved out a play by Rouse, who wanted to keep it in play but could not. So 17 seconds still to go. Garth Snow, the backup goaltender, started these playoffs because of a difficult final week for Ron Hextall in a couple of games against the Rangers and one against New Jersey. Then he had to be relieved. And it was Hextall, the elder, who came in. These guys are an awful lot alike. I think the one thing, Snow reacted adamantly about the pull. Well, maybe that's overstating a little bit. He was not happy with it, and that's how Ron Hextall would have acted 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a difference in age, even though their styles, I think, are similar. Their size is similar.
Well, they have a good relationship, Hextall and Snow, as does Mike Vernon along with Chris Osgood, the older goaltender, fatherly figure, doing a great job helping the younger goaltender learn the trade.
Header off, just missed for Doug Brown. Brown now for Lindros. 2 seconds left on the penalty, and Fetisov is out. As on comes Renberg. Fed it across for Zepko.
There's a goal off the rush. Hextall has the puck. Calmly puts it to the side. The power play expires. That first pass is beautiful. Here's a 3-on-2, and right through the legs goes the shot. Now the neutral zone pass was beautiful. This sets up the 3-on-2. Bad angle shot. Vernon was out so far that he tried to recover. He couldn't get closed up. Renberg skating beautifully. Puts the puck wide, and there's Leclerc, and through the legs. Now Vernon is out so far. One step, 2 steps, and can't close the legs. John Leclerc gets Philadelphia back into the game after their power play did not work.
Leclerc's 8th from Renberg and Lindros. A Legion of Doom goal. Gotten Philadelphia back in this. It's not often we say this, but I think you can credit the crowd for getting Philadelphia back into this too, because they were sagging, they were having to make changes. During a stoppage, the crowd picked them up. And Ron Hextall set up the play that the Legion took care of. Heavy hit by Klatt. Puck loose in front. 2 Flyers go down and a penalty coming up.
And Joel Otto may be hurt a little bit on the play as he was submarined by Klatt, his own teammate. You know, I wonder if Klatt's going to get the penalty here. I don't know. It could be charging on Klatt. Look at Klatt move in. Does he leave his feet? Yeah. He left his feet enough and hit so high that he's been given a penalty for charging. So 2:15 to go in the second, and Detroit will get a power play. There's Klatt. Elbows right into the face of Fetisov, and then Klatt went in front of the net and submarined Joel Otto, who ended up getting banged up on the play. Detroit's power play.
8 penalties called by Bill McCreary tonight, 5 for interference, a trip, a high stick, and a charge. Just like these teams had meetings to prepare for this final series, the men in stripes did too.
Trent Klatt did some great hitting on behalf of the Flyers in the previous series and actually all the way through the playoffs. But here, he left his feet a little bit and he put his arms right into the face of Fetisov, so he's been given the penalty. And at the point in time when the Flyers started to get it going here, they were back in it, starting to really get the emotion going. Now this to me is a huge power play penalty kill with a 3-2 Red Wing lead late in the second.
Bodine will be out with Joel Otto. Though shaken up, he remains on the penalty kill. It'll be Therrien working in back for Philadelphia with Desjardins. The Red Wings bring it ahead with Larionov. Then Kozlov. Shanahan is the other forward. Therrien bashed it from him, and Otto deflected it back down.
Now watch for Detroit on the power play. If they set up, they're better off to sneak in from the blue line.
Kozlov with a shot that's turned away by Hextall and forced wide by Desjardins. Falling down, Larionov got it to Shanahan, to the back now to Lidstrom. Hands it across. Big drive by Fedorov, and it went off the pad of Hextall. 76-mile-an-hour shot. Bodine trying to work it in. Ron Brind'amour shorthandedly up with it for the Flyers and tucks it deeper. 1:25 left in the period. 1:10 to go on the power play. Sergei Fedorov hands it to Kozlov, and Kozlov nubbed one to Yzerman. Yzerman swirling with it, trying to avoid the checking. It's swung by Druce, but right to Lidstrom. Chopped back down by Niederman.
Niederman's everywhere. The Flyers down to 5 defensemen. Svoboda injured his foot. And this kid Niederman, he's playing an outstanding game. He's everywhere.
The second period.
Red Wings bring it back. Slava Fetisov gives it across. Larionov's pass misfires. Sandstrom in for it. Rammed by Therrien. And the puck came over to Bodine. Moving back out with Otto, and he clears it back down.
So far, a super penalty kill. No setup time at all for Detroit.
Here's Yzerman walking it ahead. To the last 17 of the power play. Yzerman put it behind. Niederman wrapped it back off. McCarty with a pass, and that one right into the path of Druce. John Druce back with 8 left on his team's kill. Just holds and drops it in, and then he's rammed by McCarty.
With Klatt in the penalty box, Druce gets a chance to penalty kill, and what a great job he did.
Boy, will he ever see a lot of ice in the third. Samuelsson intercepts and banks it back out. The team's at full strength, and the second period is about over.
Earlier, who does not kill penalties very often, went into the locker room. Now, in the last game of the Rangers series, during the second intermission, he took an IV to get fluids back into his system. You wonder if it's happening again right here.
The end of the second period. Boy, has this been good. Red Wings 3, Flyers 2. Stay tuned for the MasterCard $1 Million Shootout after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Welcome back to Fox's coverage of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, where a late Flyers goal in the second period of play has drawn them within 1 of the Red Wings 3-2. Right now, it's time now to head downstairs to the ice, where our own Joe Micheletti is standing by to drop the puck on the MasterCard $1 Million Stanley Cup shot. Joe?
Okay, JB, thanks very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Fox and MasterCard welcome you to the MasterCard $1 Million Stanley Cup shot, where contestant Laura Wall from Anaheim, California will take a shot at the goal target from the red line for a chance to win $1 million. Now, 4 MasterCard cardholders were selected randomly to compete in a shoot-off, which took place on Thursday. Laura came away the winner, and Laura, yesterday you had a great practice. How do you feel in front of this great crowd?
Actually, I feel pretty good. I feel loose, and I'm focused, and I'm rooting for the Flyers.
Now, Laura had some help getting to this point, of course, and she was coached by one of hockey's all-time legends, the great number 4, Bobby Orr. Bobby, what kind of advice did you give Laura?
We worked on just the fundamentals, the grip, the follow-through, and the weight shift, Joe, and she's been a great student. I wouldn't be surprised at all if she put it in the net.
Now Laura will be aiming for the center of the target, which is only 6 inches wide. If the puck goes in, Laura wins $1 million. If the puck goes to the left or the right, she'll take home $20,000. And if all else fails, she'll win $10,000 for her competition. Playing along tonight with Laura is a Fox home viewer, Jeff Ball from Charleston, West Virginia. So whatever Laura wins, Jeff wins. Laura, the center stage is all yours. Good luck. It's time to take the shot. Not close enough, Laura, but Larry Flanagan from MasterCard is here to present you with a gold MasterCard worth $10,000.
Congratulations from MasterCard. It's $10,000 MasterCard gold card.
JB, that's the action from down here. Let's go back upstairs to you.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Time now for a break, but when we come back, Dave Maloney and I will break down what's happened so far in the second period of play as the quest for the cup continues right here on Fox.
The National Hockey League's Plus-Minus Award recognizes the player who records the top overall plus-minus rating during the regular season. This award can only be won by performing exceptionally well at both ends of the ice, game in, game out. Here to present this year's winner, John LeClair of the Philadelphia Flyers, is Tony Pontoro, our friend and partner from Anheuser-Busch.
John, a plus 44 50-goal season is certainly impressive. And Anheuser-Busch has been a longtime sponsor of the National Hockey League. So on behalf of Anheuser-Busch and Bud Ice, we're here to present you the 1997 Bud Ice Plus Minus Award and this charitable check for $5,000 to the John LeClair Foundation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Flyer organization and my teammates who without them this wouldn't be possible. I'd also like to thank Anheuser-Busch for their generous contribution to the John LeClair Foundation. This money would be greatly appreciated for youth charities throughout the state of Vermont.
And it was a John LeClair goal that has brought the Flyers within one of the Red Wings 3-2. Let's take a look at the highlights and see exactly what happened.
Sergei Fedorov, you talk about Detroit's speed, he epitomizes it, but this is in the first period. Fundamentally, folks, that puck's got to go up the boards. Where does it go? Through the middle, finds Joey Kocur right there. Kocur, a nice little backhand top shelf, started the season in the beer league. Gets his first Stanley Cup final goal, Joel Kocur. Now, 55 Murphy makes this play. He creates an option that Hextall has to worry about. Who scores? Sergei Fedorov. Through the blue line with power and speed, Renberg opens up a gap, finds John LeClair through the 5-hole, and that goal, folks, brought the emotion of the crowd back into the building.
All right, Detroit has played well. We'll find out. Can they keep it going in the third after this? One more reminder to stay tuned for the start of the third period to see if you've got the winning game piece in the Quaker State Get Cup Crazy game. We take a look at Philadelphia's Dan Kordic being pushed into the net by Vladimir Konstantinov. Folks, no surprise there. Third period up next.
The winner of Game 1 wins 80% of these Stanley Cup Finals. Detroit is 2/3 of the way there, but that's just 2/3. The Bud Ice statistics and the singing that accompanies it. Shots on goal, 20 Detroit, 19 Philadelphia. The scoring chances even, face-offs. An edge to Philadelphia that's not as dominant as it was before. The penalty box, empty.
Flyers have had 6 odd-man rushes, 1 goal. That was a 3-on-2. Detroit's had 4 odd-man rushes. They have 3 goals. So you can see how they've gotten theirs. Svoboda, by the way, the defenseman has returned and is on the ice right now to start this third period. The other thing is the Flyers want more skating from their team. They feel they only skated well in the last 5 minutes of the second period. They want the legs going.
LeClaire angles. Fed around by Maltby. Ricocheted back down. It'll be an icing call, sent over half the length and touched, as it is now, by the non-offending team.
Now, did Eric Lindros make a statement at the start of the third period as he got rid of his opposite center, Chris Draper? No penalty called on the play. This starts the third period. A shot, another shot, another shot. Draper down, no penalty. Detroit bench was looking for one, but Bill McCreary will let him go. Now, Detroit, they feel going into the third that they have to stay out of the penalty box. The fans will be into it. If a Flyer throws a body check, Scotty Bowman does not want his players retaliating and taking a penalty and putting the Flyers on the power play.
Great traditions in this matchup. The tradition of Clark and Barber and Leach, and Howe and Lindsay and Abel in successful years. But those years were quite some time ago. Even though Ted Lindsay still has a locker stall in Joe Louis Arena, he works out there so often. Murphy with a shot. That one loose in front, and it kicked over to LeClaire. John LeClaire up with Renberg, but that one just punched calmly aside by the defense.
The 3-on-2 that didn't work.
Flyers changing. Yzerman shooting. He scores! Steve Yzerman with the bullet! And it is 4-2.
Now the Flyers had a 3-on-2, Mike. Moved up ice. Both defensemen were back for Detroit. The fans in Detroit celebrating early in the third with a 2-goal lead. Now Leclerc blocked a shot in his own zone right here. Blocks it. Now the Flyers with Svoboda in on the play. 3-on-2. But watch the pass here that doesn't work. Oh, man. Leclerc made the great block, but the bad pass. Detroit recovers. The Flyers changing, and a bad goal on Hextall. He's beaten from just inside the blue line with Niederman back. There's the shot, no deflection. Hextall gets beat for a bad one, and the Red Wings have the 2-goal lead.
Undoubtedly triggers memories of Steve Yzerman's blast in the second overtime of Game 7 last year in the playoffs against St. Louis. Hextall got some sarcastic applause for that grab. Hey. Brind'amour bringing it ahead. Watched by Fatizov. And it's fed back down.
The assistant, number 55, Larry Murphy.
And the icing touch-up, Larry Murphy got the lone assist on the goal by Yzerman.
And Murphy having now a game where he has 2 assists on each, 1 assist on each of the last 2 Detroit goals, as Murphy and Lidstrom have done a great job against the Legion of Doom line. Another look at the shot on the goal by Yzerman. You see the screen set up by Niederman. It doesn't touch him. And you see Hextall going down as the puck caroms off the stick and up inside the net. Hextall was caught going down. He wasn't down, he wasn't up. He was in between, in transition, and Yzerman beat him with a long shot.
This is Podine, and a save made by Mike Vernon. So over a minute and a half played in the third. Bob Rouse walking it ahead, shooting, and it went wide. An 83-mile-an-hour shot. Rouse in, jousting away for it, but it's held to the boards and play stopped. Do you believe in omens? Entering the third period, when Detroit has a lead, they've won all 6 times. And when the Russians figure in a scoring play, they've won 12. When the Russians don't, they've lost all 4. Do you believe in omens? No. You're a goaltender. You don't believe in that stuff. The fans sometimes do.
Things can change. Scotty Bowman has won 174 playoff games, trying to make a 175. Terry Murray has won 46 playoff games in his career. Again, look of concern. He's now scrambling What do I do? How do I get my combinations? How much does Lindros play?
Twisting back with it, Brind'amour. Svoboda playing a little catch. Ward and Rouse, the defense combination for Detroit. Pretty good hit by LaPointe on Brind'amour. Flyers have to regroup, and it's Svoboda. Flipping it away from Rouse. Lofted back out by Ward.
That's what Detroit does. The Flyers are ready for it. A lot of those flip outs. Taking the puck and elevating it so high in the air it buys time, and you don't ice the puck.
Howard Chuck's shot is answered by Vernon. Zubras trying to flip it through. Dumped off by Rouse. Coffey shooting! And he cut the glass. And all the way back down. Well, you can pitchfork that puck back out a lot more confidently with a 2-goal advantage than with just a 1. Margin for error on everything. Gets a lot better thanks to that goal by Detroit's captain. It is Coffey. The shots are 21 apiece. John LeClair bringing it ahead. Fed one, hoping for Lindros, and he got him, but he put it off the outside of the goal. Jab back near Lindros, sealed up for a moment by Kocur. Circling is Renberg, but the pass trickled on to a Detroit stick. Larry Murphy tried to rifle it out, but it kicked over to LeClair. LeClair started it ahead for Eric Lindros. To LeClair! Save! Made! .94 miles an hour on that LeClair shot.
And Mike Vernon was in perfect position. It was a given goal. LeClair to Lindros, back to LeClair. A real quick release, and Mike Vernon makes a big save. See, there's LeClair on the puck. The give to Lindros, and the goal. Now the puck back. A beautiful pass, and there's the slap shot from halfway between the blue line and the top of the circle. Vernon played out so far that the shot was only 24.5 feet that it had to travel, but Vernon had perfect position. That's a huge save.
Konstantinov to Fetisov. Chipped around, but not out. The big boys are out for Philadelphia right now. That one squibbed away from Desjardins. Kordig and Lacroix and Therrien on defense with that hit on Sandstrom. They continue to rough it up on the boards, two-a-side battling, and play is stopped.
And above the 4 men in a corner, Lacroix and McCarty were going at each other. Detroit's been very disciplined with only sending 2 men to the puck. Only 2 men in there. The third man is way back to help out the defense. This is on the forecheck. Now, if there's a setup where Philadelphia wants to come out of the zone after they set up behind the net, that's when the Red Wings use that famed system we're talking about, the left wing lock. So Philadelphia have to win a puck battle in their own zone, and then they have to move up the ice to get through 3 people.
Where did that left wing lock come from?
Czechoslovakia. When it was Czechoslovakia, it's now the Czech Republic. Years ago, not Russia. A lot of people think it was the Russian system. The Russian system is center iceman back. The Czechs used a left wing back years ago, and it's now developed into a lot of different countries, including Sweden, using it.
Barry Smith, the assistant coach for this team, brought it from Sweden. On now with it is Howard Chuck. Fed one across the net mouth wide. Therrien flipped one that came back to Zubras. Off the wall for Desjardins. Fed a high screamer on the wrist shot that was off the glass. Therrien cranked it well wide, and it hopped away from Howard Chuck. Taken by Thomas Sandstrom. Off Yzerman's stick. Rammed by Nienema. And still they battle. It came to Fetisov, then across to Konstantinov. And back in. So nearly 4.5 minutes played in the third period. The big event of the period, a slap shot by Steve Yzerman off Ron Hextall and in from about 60 feet. Murphy assisted at 56 seconds, and Detroit got a 2-goal lead. Hextall sets and Nienema there. Nearly wrapped up from behind by Brown. It's swept back over for a drop. But Detroit with good coverage, though it's knocked away for a play to be made by Otto. Hung up at the line, but followed through on.
There's just no room. No room for the Flyers.
Save made by Vernon on the shot from Podine. Kozlov scaled it back down, and there'll be another icing stoppage of play.
And this is where Philadelphia might get some offense in winning a face-off quickly in the Detroit zone, something that Eric Lindros can do a lot of, which could lead to offense.
Barry Smith, the guy we mentioned, will be involved in picking the Swedish Olympic team for Nagano in '98.
You know, one player he really wants on the team is Renberg, who's playing in this game on a Legion of Doom line. He didn't play in the World Cup this last fall, and he'll certainly help the Olympic squad for Sweden.
Well, hopefully that ankle of his will be healed by then.
You know, he showed me yesterday the inside of his left ankle. It's like he's got a golf ball taped to it from the inflammation. They call it skate bite. His skates have tightened so much that has caused inflammation and swelling, and at the end of the playoffs he'll have surgery to correct it. There's that offense and the possibility of it. Shanahan with a great block. Lindros won the draw. The shot was blocked.
4 shots to 1 Philadelphia in the period. But the one by the Red Wings is the one that went in and gave them the 2-goal cushion.
I'll tell you, it's amazing to see Renberg skate this well with that big swelling and inflammation alongside of his ankle.
This one chopped ahead, and Shanahan just helps it further, comes obediently to the bench on a change of lines. It's angled back for Larry Murphy. Angled over for Lapointe. Artem Lapointe. Larionov to Lapointe, and a rising shot got the glass. Now Niederman had to play because of Maltby. Lindros with a club move on Fetisov and a second one.
Yeah, when the Flyer gets a puck, there's a Red Wing right there. So there's just no space and no time. And the Flyers can't skate the puck. It's what happened to Colorado in the last round. Now, we talked about Flyers' best chance for offense, maybe winning a faceoff. But watch Shanahan get out to block the shot. We'll roll it, and it will stop it. Now, you stop it there. You saw the clean win. Lindros is going to the net, but the man down there is Shanahan. His teammate got out to block the shot. Great job. There he is. Lindros wins it clean, but no clean shot because Shanahan battled out there.
Offensive zone faceoffs for the Flyers. They've won 12 of 20.
Now here's another one. Brind'amour can win the draw clean back to Niederman, but watch and see if he does, if the shot gets through, if Draper gets beat.
It's to the wall, and Zubras chopped at, but right to Draper. Angled back off, but kept by Niederman. Then on to Brind'amour. Draper into him. Fetisov into Zubras. Konstantinov tested in the wall by Bruce.
No room. No room. Zubras, look at this young man. 18 years old, not even 19. And there he threw down 39-year-old Slava Fetisov as this kid who now has his brother in town takes care of his family from the Eastern Bloc. And so now the faceoffs are really starting to mount here, Mike, in the third period in the Detroit zone. Detroit, any kind of trouble, they're icing the puck. Any kind of trouble, they're freezing it up for a draw. Well, now it'll be, I would think, Otto for the draw. Correction is Howard Chuck playing center ice now on a shift. First time he's played center ice in this game on a line.
We are seeing some changes from start to finish
he's
here.
in place of Otto. Howard Chuck's way more offensive than Otto. So the Flyers playing the percentages here, trying to get some offense going. And there's a hit from behind on Svoboda. On McCarty, Svoboda will get the penalty, and Detroit with a 2-goal lead will have themselves a power play with 13:33 to go in the third. Detroit power play, they're 0 for 3, 5 shots. Svoboda sits, a cross-check from behind in the offensive zone. That hurts his club. Now, Fedorov's not playing the point here, Mike. Detroit has a 2-goal lead in the third period. They want defensemen on the blue line, not a forward.
Well, they have defenseman. Larry Murphy handles it now. It's handed back over for Kozlov. The other defenseman is Lidstrom. Larionov just looking things over. A stick broken by Therrien, and a shot was saved by Hextall. He got the blocker on it as Larry Murphy sent it toward him. Odin tried to swagger in, could not. Brought back up by Brendan Shanahan. Detroit with a 2-goal lead and on the power play.
Brind'amour has 2 shorthanded goals in the playoffs. John Druce has 1, and the Flyers would love one here.
Shanahan lobs it on through. Kozlov got it on back to Murphy. Fires a shot off of Hextall high. Kozlov dropped it on. It's fed to the back by Fedorov for Murphy. Close quarters to Lidstrom. Cut off by Trent Klatt and sent back down by Brind'amour.
Trent Klatt took away the passing the passing lane. Terry Murray talked about Detroit with diagonal passes on the power play. He wants his penalty killers to get the sticks in the passing lane, and Trent Klatt, he did just that.
This is Fedorov. Fed it in front, away from Yzerman, but to LaPointe. Banged it back off for Yzerman. No one in front yet, and it went off his stick. Fedorov pointed it on back for Slava Fetisov. Fedorov again, in deep. Yzerman out front, and a shot, and the rebound was blocked down. Boy, just the walk right in by Yzerman, and a big shot is blocked away by Desjardins. Yzerman again with it. Dealt it on in for LaPointe. He looks to Fetisov inside the box. Fedorov waits, and it's jammed away by Desjardins. Roaring back in on a shift change now. Konstantinov's shot is called back on an offside.
And the Flyers making him notice that he took the shot on the whistle. Flyers didn't like that. Oh, Detroit now playing Fedorov up front on the power play, so they don't take a chance defensively with a 2-goal lead. Look at Fedorov here. He's waiting. And the Flyers will get caught chasing on this side of the ice. Fedorov will find the lane and get open. Look at him. He wants the puck. He finds the lane. He moves. There it is. Doesn't shoot it as Hextall challenged him. And then a pass across did not work. Wow. Now Detroit earlier. Here's Yzerman moving in 2-on-1. Pass across. The puck does not settle for LaPointe on the far side with Hextall down. Detroit very close on their power play. Only 2 seconds to go now for Peter Svoboda in the box.
11:35. Svoboda released. The teams are back at full strength. Philadelphia down by 2 as Coffey gets it along for Shell Samuelson. From the glass, it came to Draper. Hit one of those glass supports. Draper trying to work it along, cannot. Svoboda swept it, but still the battle on. Maltby jousted a little bit from behind by Leclerc. Now Lindros. Fires it back down. Leclerc got there, so no icing. Leclerc trying to fight his way, but can't. The Red Wings outman, but it's off one of those glass supports again. Lidstrom brings it ahead. Larry Murphy walks it further and lobs it in deep. Shift change Detroit. Philadelphia already has.
Lindros now, second half of his shift, seeing Konstantinov and Fetisov, not Murphy, as a 2-line pass, and that squashes the offense again for the Flyers.
Not a lot of activity in that crowd, you see. But back in Detroit, they've been watching this on Joe Vision, and they're pretty happy. That's a live picture. 20,291 here. They've been averaging around 11,000 to watch. And here's Shanahan, a shot save made by Hextall right off the face-off. A splendid Detroit chance.
And a splendid save by Ron Hextall as he keeps his team alive with 10.5 minutes to go in the third.
LaPointe nubbed it ahead. Larionov a shot, and that deflected wide. Terrian wrapped up from behind. But it's helped back out again for a Flyer rush. Rod Brind'amour bringing it on. Gives over to Druce. But lost off his stick. They work it in deep. Fetisov punched it off Druce's stick to neutral ice. Larionov jostled off by Niinema. Off of Zubras. And deep. Halfway through the third period. Larionov passes it over to Fetisov. Very deliberately rolls it back in, and so the Flyers have to turn and take it. Peter Svoboda guided it across for Niinema.
And Scotty Bowman's already got Murphy and Lidstrom on the ice. Now comes the big line for the Flyers. The matchup continues.
Eric Lindros is in, had trouble controlling. Sandstrom on him. Now John Leclerc turning with it. Leclerc wanted to get to the front. Larry Murphy in the way. Leclerc out in front, knocked off his stick, and it hit the outside of the net.
He knocked off the stick by Lidstrom. They're playing the stick and the puck, not so much the body.
The equalizer. They're giving up so much height and weight. An average of around 18 pounds and 1.5 inches by the Detroit defense whenever they have to face Lindros and Leclerc.
Here comes a hit. No, not too bad. I thought Murphy was going to get nailed, but he's so smart he avoided it.
Desjardins. Lindros flips. Second effort fails. Swept back out again by Kozlov and down for an icing touch-up.
This has to be so frustrating for the big Flyer line of Renberg, Leclerc, and Lindros. The work is there. They just can't find the offensive chances. Detroit's splendid. Ronnie Hextall makes a big save here. We'll see Shanahan right here sneak in. Watch Larionov with a nice little pass right here. One-on-one. Shanahan gets stopped by Ronnie Hextall. Eric Lindros has tried to move the body. He has not had much room there. He's got Sandstrom with him. He tries to break loose and does. And then he's got Murphy on him. Here he's reaching out, trying to hit Murphy, and Murphy avoided most of the bump. Larry Murphy's had a strong game, plus has 2 assists. Eric Lindros, his club trails by 2 goals, and time winding down.
This is Fedorov, who has one of the Red Wing goals. If the Red Wings win this, the backbreaker will have been the long drive by Yzerman off Hextall early in this period. Maltby and Kocur have also scored for Detroit. Brind'amour and Leclerc have connected for the Flyers. 8.5 to go, third period.
Detroit has kept this defense pairing away from Lindros. Rouse and Ward, they played well, but very, very little ice time when the Lindros line has been out there. Very little time against them. The big line reunited again. Renberg, Leclerc, Lindros. 2 assists for Lindros. 1 goal by Leclerc, 1 assist by Renberg. And the goal itself was a play which developed into a 3-on-2 late in the second. Other than that, as at even strength, no sustained offense, no room. They've just been squashed and smothered by Scotty Bowman's game plan here so far. 8:18 to go, and this line can crank it open at any time.
Out of what's been about 50 minutes, a little more tonight, about how many of those minutes would you guess the Flyers really got their forecheck going the way they wanted to?
Very little. One thing about this game to this point, when Detroit looks back, their defensemen have not been punished. Very little. The big hit was by Klatt on Fetisov, but he took a penalty on it in the second period.
Lacroix fanned on the shot, but controls and put one in front. It's been there off of Vernon, but he's able to cover. The backhand attempt, and somehow Vernon came up with it.
They see again, Mike, another chance for Philadelphia, but it's on the faceoff. They win a draw, they find some loose pucks. Lacroix missed a shot, but found the puck, got it back in front. Otto was there. Watch here, Lacroix doesn't get the shot there, but he fights and recovers and gets the puck. Again, he loses it. Again, he recovers it. Now watch the Flyers in front. Big guys, including Otto, and Detroit's got all 6 players there again in front of the net. They're collapsing so low around Mike Vernon. All the Red Wings are there, and Vernon's able to hang on to it. Look at Fetisov on Otto. Konstantinov, so they're all there. Another face-off.
From the tie-up, Joe Kocur brings it out. Kocur pestered, got it across to Chris Draper, who lobbed it back. Yzerman, having won the face-off, has come to the bench. The changing continues. Draper got out of the way of most of the hit coming from Coffey. Joel Otto has to get help. Desjardins provides it. 7:45 to go third period, and the Flyers need 2, and they have to keep Detroit off the board further. Brind'amour, and that one ricocheted and out of play near the Detroit bench.
Konstantinov and Lindros meet up here because Lindros is being double shifted. Look at the space and the time. Every time a Flyer is near the puck, there's just no room. No room. You've got to earn the room. You try to do it with quickness. And there's one of the few times where those 2 players have matched up in this game.
Who would have thought it would have been Lidstrom and Murphy spending so much time? We were all thinking Konstantinov, as often as he can be out there, he'll be out there. Well, it's been 2/3 of the time the other way.
Detroit threw us a curve, and the idea, I guess, is not to get Lindros mad and be in his face and cause that type of game. They just played the puck, played his stick, and not giving him any room to this point for the big guy.
Lidstrom scaled it back down. There'll be no icing on this one. The shots in the period are 6-4. Flyers 25-24 in the game. Meaningless now because the Flyers trail by 2. Leclerc jams one. Aaron Ward came up with it. And the rookie out of the University of Michigan just lobbed it back down. Now Therrien again. Murphy. And again, the Flyers must recoil.
And Lindros is coming on the ice every second shift. Every second shift now here in the third, he's on the ice.
Larry Murphy again. Murphy jammed it on, but it's Zubras. Nice move to shake some checking Coffey, but it could not be finessed through by Leclerc. Tries again. Third time, and he put it in on goal from center ice. Vernon angled it back. Yzerman just laid it back out again, and then he was smeared by Lindros. Yzerman slow to get up, comes to the bench. Meanwhile, Coffey is back. Then Lindros across for a shot by Svoboda. Renberg behind for Lindros again. Duels with Fetisov. Lindros nearly ran into Leclerc. Not much room there with 4 bodies behind the net. Paul Coffey kept it alive. Renberg with a little trouble, flipping it, but Fetisov there. Fetisov nearly outmanned, but it's ripped back off. Renberg threw it behind. Lindros battling for it there. Fetisov won that battle, gets it back again, got it onto Fedorov, scaled off the glass, and threw Coffey and down. And all of that time, 4 ticks off the clock.
Every time Detroit comes up the boards, the Flyer defense now will pinch and try and keep it in. They've got to try to keep plays alive.
Lindros across. Oh, and what a play made by Vernon as he got the glove on the shot.
I tell you, Mike, I honestly thought Lindros would shoot. He made a pass across to Klatt, who took a stride, then the shot, and a 2-on-1 save by Mike Vernon, just a gigantic save. 2-on-1, here it is. Klatt's on the far side. Vernon takes 2 strides, and the save is made.
Oh.
Remember in the second period, Vernon couldn't take 2 strides because Leclerc shot and scored. Watch Vernon. 1 step, 2 steps. It took Klatt too long to shoot. And by the time he shot, there was Mike Vernon, glove extended, the save of the game in the catcher's mitt. The save of the game so far. Vernon, 1 stride, 2 strides, glove out, there it is, as he robs Trent Klatt. Not a goal scorer, but he got into position and was flat out robbed, the save of the game.
What a wonderful look at it, especially that last one, because it was headed in until Vernon had the glove out. Chipped by LaPointe and read by Terrien. The big defenseman flops it back in. Bob Rouse with it. Bob Rouse, who broke up a 2-on-1 that the Flyers had when the score was closer in the second. Again by Konstantinov on Klatt.
Oh, baby, did he hit him. Klatt is shaking a little bit. He's a little woozy. Konstantinov now is throwing the hit of the game. Klatt threw one earlier on Fetisov and took a penalty. This time Klatt will cut to the middle and shoulder into the chest, and man, did he catch him. He's a big hitter, 11th rounder. Oh, there's a collision and a clean one, and Klatt was a little woozy on the play. Back in '86 World Championships, Konstantinov played center ice, shut down Marcel Dion, the great Hall of Fame goal scorer in the series. But here in the NHL, he plays defense and throws big hits, and that was one right there.
What a tribute paid to him by Ted Lindsay. Quote, he could play in any era. End of quote.
You could say the same thing about Eric Lindros, too, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
They both remind me a little bit about Gordie Howe.
Off the face-off Spar, diving for it that time, and eventually getting help with Shanahan. LaPointe cleared it back. Leclerc allows it to go to Lindros, and he put it back in. Vernon behind. Dealt around, but there is Nienema. Renberg could not get it. Lifted off the glass. Now Leclerc up with it. Feeds it back to the point. Terrien there. Terrien wrists one. Spiked away by Murphy. Another attempt by Nienema fails. Lindros over. Locked up by Kocur.
Flyers are getting the puck deep a lot now. A lot of times. And here we have an icing again as Lindros is being held up by Joe Kocur. Kocur's trying to get a stick back. There's now a whistle for icing. And a linesman, Ray Scampanello, has to look way up to break him up.
Oh, that's a live shot, and a few people are leaving. 4:37 left, and the home team down by 2. Game 2 on ESPN here Tuesday at Joe Louis Arena, ESPN Thursday and June 7th. If necessary, back here on Fox June 10 and June 14 for a 7th game, sandwiched around Game 6 on ESPN at Detroit on June 12th.
Gary Thorne and Billy Clement have a lot of fun doing those games. John Saunders and Barry Melrose and Command Center.
If they
have fun, guys.
Yeah, if they have half as much as we've had watching all the hitting and the exciting plays, it'll be a picnic worth waiting for them too.
5 or 6 straight minutes of play deep in the Detroit zone as the Flyers press late. 4:20 to go.
Yzerman breaks it up. It's McCarty to Yzerman in front, waiting, and a shot went off Hextall, and we get a stoppage of play.
This time, a shot taken late by Fetisov that hit somebody well after the whistle. Well after the whistle. And that's brought really the first scrum of the hockey game. The first one where everybody's in against each other. The very first time. A late shot. I believe it was Fetisov that hit somebody, and that's created some animosity. Tell you what, Ronnie Hextall, I think, made a big save here. He has allowed a bad goal early in the third, but he's made a couple of saves as the period has moved along. Here's the turnover. Coffey can't get to it. Turned over as Maltby forced the play. Now, there's no shot right here, but watch Hextall go down, yet stay up with his chest. And then there, made the save with his foot. Quick whistle. And for some reason, Fetisov took the extra shot. He'll probably say he didn't hear the whistle, but he certainly did shoot the puck late, and that got everybody's attention. Ronnie Hextall made a fine save to allow the Flyers to have any type of chance here yet. They're trailed by 2, 4-2 with 4:13 to go. Now, during the exchange, Eric Lindros had a problem with his helmet. Well, that'll have to be repaired, or get a new one from the locker room, or play without.
Boy, he just changed helmets earlier this year. He went to a different style.
His brother retired because of concussions at a very young age. The newer Bauer helmet's got a lot more padding and a lot more protection.
Back to play with 4:13 to go. Third period. Detroit wins the faceoff.
Big line, a fourth line now on the ice for Philly. They've actually had a couple of scoring chances. John Druce has had a couple of chances.
Daniel Lacroix and Dan Kordic are the other members of that front line. Detroit does not respond with their grind line. They have the lead. They want to make sure that they're in a prevent. Svoboda hands it on back to Shell Samuelson. Crowd getting restless now. Broken up by Lidstrom a second time. Turned on by Shanahan, who's walled by Kordic.
Flyers will be looking at game tapes and game tapes and game tapes to try to figure out the system that Detroit has to try to find a way to crack it. The Stanley Cup champions of a year ago couldn't. That's the Colorado Avalanche. Will the Flyers be able to?
Big shot by McCarty was off the mark. Moving in is Maltby. Bumped by Nienema, and Nienema came up with it. Pass taken by Rod Brind'amour. Brind'amour run off, and again it's played back in by Draper with 3:10 to go. Paul Coffey just pitchforks a backhander out that's gloved down. Trying to play it ahead was Fetisov. Hawerchuk tried to play it back in, and Maltby was in the way.
Draper.
Again, what John has been saying all night, no room, and then hit from behind across the way was Maltby.
It's starting to get nasty a little bit now, and this will set up for game 2 of the series for sure. Lindros here in the third period just trying to find space. This was the opening faceoff. Draper was knocked down. This is in behind the net. He'll get rid of his Czech Sandstrom to find some open ice. Here oh man, what a hit that was on Steve Yzerman. Then here with Kocur. Kocur's pinning him, and there's 4 different elbows by Lindros to try and free up some space and just can't. Now he's waiting for his helmet so he can get back onto the ice as we have a slight delay and some broken pieces of a stick being cleaned up off the ice surface by the linesman. There's his helmet going back, and there's the pieces.
Ray Scapinello has been unbelievable. 26 years. This is his 15th Stanley Cup final. What an amazing record this guy has had, and how many games has he worked over all of those 26 years? 2019 and 329 playoff games. He's got a cleanup job to do because of that.
Ross-check to the back of Fetisov, breaking the stick of Brind'amour and the stoppage.
Tonight's game 1 of the 1997 Stanley Cup Finals, produced by Richard Zients, directed by Sandy Grossman. Pre-game show and intermissions produced by Nancy Bernstein and directed by Artie Kempner. Thanks also to technical producer Dean Walker and the outstanding Fox technical staff. Senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers Ed Gorin and David Hill. And special thoughts to Bob Siderman, who is sidelined from our crew, but we will look forward to his return. All the best to him from all of us here in Philadelphia. So it is off the stick of Vernon.
And Vernon didn't handle the puck there, Mike. That cost a big hit on one of his defensemen.
It's swept along, and Yzerman chipped it back out. Taken now by Svoboda and cranked back in, but it caught a teammate in early, and so an offside.
You know, Mike Vernon, I think, has really handled the puck well. It's not his strength. Glenn Hall, the former, maybe the greatest goaltender of all time, coached Mike Vernon in Calgary. He said, Mike, don't handle the puck too much. Just don't. Stay in the net. But here in this game, you'll see here, has trouble with the puck. Watch him slam a stick on the ice. There, he's upset because Murphy gets hit. He didn't handle the puck well to set it up for Murphy. But I really think overall, with the Flyers dumping the puck in,
Vernon has handed it off like a quarterback to a running back in football. He's handed the puck off real well.
Svoboda tried to put it in front, and Lidstrom with the kneeling block. Out in front again, and Larry Murphy up with it. And again, it's angled back out.
It's interesting, too. These Detroit forwards are just jumping right in front of Mike Vernon, not worried about the Flyer defenseman. And it's like a trap in front of Vernon's net.
My goodness, Lindros pretty well had Konstantinov skewered.
And took a penalty doing it. A roughing call. Lindros goes to the box with 2:12 to go in this third period in Detroit with a 2-goal lead. Oh, another offensive zone penalty. Frustrating penalty for the Flyers. Lindros with a stick misses the body of Konstantinov, but got the jersey. Now watch Konstantinov holding the stick of Lindros. It's a love tap. Lindros has a stick held, a love tap to the jaw, but Lindros took the penalty.
A one-man advantage, a 2-goal lead. The Rough at 17:48, just 2:12 to go. And some of the hopeful 20,000 plus, 20,291 are starting to leave. We mentioned earlier, about 4 out of every 5 is won by the winner of game 1. But boy, I think game 2 is the game that means so much, especially to Philadelphia now. Because if they don't win this one, and it's a problem Bob Clark has seen in his time as a player as well as an executive, if they don't win this one, they have to win the next one. Otherwise, that means they'd have to win 4 out of 5, including 3 games at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. But that's an if. The Flyers are down by 2 and shorthanded by a man with 2:12 to go.
Oh, they'll come back in battle in game 2 of this series. It'll be desperation time. If they don't come back to win this thing, it'll be desperation time. The Flyers will play hard. They've got to break the system. It's something they just have to do. They also gave up 3 goals with odd man rushes against. The other goal was the long shot by Yzerman, which really hurt the Flyers there early.
Larionov in front. Oh, LaPointe was stoned by Hextall. Or it would be a 3-goal lead. Fetisov holding it now. Then over to Konstantinov. To Larionov. In front of the net, taking some punishment, is LaPointe. It's fed along for a shot by Shanahan. Stopped and covered by Hextall.
And LaPointe will go to the front of that and take all kinds of attention, and that opens up the ice for Shanahan, who will move around and face the passer. That time he had a great chance for a good shot, but he didn't get the good shot. He flat out missed it. And it was an easy save for Hextall. Before that, though, LaPointe was robbed with the turnover again, the pass across, and watch LaPointe take the shot, and Hextall got across and robbed him. Hextall's had a good third period other than the bad goal early. Now LaPointe will get attention here, and he'll want the attention to open up the ice. And as this is happening, Shanahan will find open ice, and then he gets the weak shot.
Big shot by Lidstrom is saved by Hextall, and Rod Brind'amour brings it out. 1 minute, 20 seconds to go. Flyers still shorthanded for 1:07. Rushing in is Yzerman. Yzerman a shot. Pad stop Hextall. Lifted along by Leclerc. The Red Wings will drop back. Down to the last minute 5. Boy, your thoughts turn to that lightning-like glove of Mike Vernon. Stopping a 2-on-1. What a play. If you see that one going in, then it's an altogether different game.
That was a catching glove save on Platt. Trent Platt moved in with Lindros. Lindros set him up beautifully. Platt took a little bit too much time to shoot. Vernon got across and made the save of the game, in my opinion.
26 left on the power play. And it's all but done. Eric Desjardins plays it on to Svoboda. Tipped along further. Sent along further by Rouse. Svoboda drops back. 6 left on the Lindros minor. 16 left in regulation. Draper starting ahead. He's got Shanahan, but is double teamed and muscled out of the play. It's lifted back along. Lindros is out of the box. Leclerc onto him with 5 left in the tilt. And the Detroit Red Wings have won game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals by a score of 4-2 and a little extra after the horn.
And some frustration with the big man Eric Lindros. Detroit comes into this game with a good game plan, executed all the way through. Larry Murphy and Nicholas Lidstrom, the two defensemen, were outstanding. They played against Lindros at even strength all game long. Murphy had 2 assists. That defense pairing did the job.
Our new Dodge player of the game is Larry Murphy. That is Joe Louis Arena. We'll be back here in Philadelphia with James Brown right after these words.